Toph, the blind bandit. Don't underestimate me just because I can't see.
The spirit of Roku, a guide and protector, stands with you.
I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to kick some butt and win this thing. How? That was something!
That's right, Avatar skins keep coming back, and this time around you can pick up Toph, whether it's just the Earth Kingdom or Fire Nation Toph, and you can get Avatar Roku, the Toph skins there for Scylla, and of course the Roku skins there for Huang, all available in the Avatar The Last Airbender chest, where you can pick up things like the Merlin Aang as well, the Iroh Bacchus, Momo's in there. Look, there's so many fantastic skins, and so you want to go pick up yours while you can. And Rock, at this point, we now have 3 different generations of just Avatar, right? Like the actual spirit, the incarnation, as well as a lot of the supporting cast that comes through. J-Mac, it just makes me happy every time I sing him. And should make you happy when you're playing with him. So go get the chest now. But it's Gore on this side, and as I just alluded to, J-Mac on that side now.
This feels weird.
Musical chairs, man. As we jump into, we're going to jump into set 2, which is going to be Duo Q and Nacho Gang. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah?
I'm surprised after set 1, do the whole thing. Because it felt like 2 games of Pentakids winning for 30 minutes and then losing for like 10 to 15. Now the question is, what do Duo Q and Nacho Gang have to do with us? As you had mentioned just a couple minutes ago, Bruise Brothers now find themselves up against the Solo Lane Sluggers. Winner of this next match will go up against the Fonzo fam. And then a little bit later, we'll be looking at some of the supports, getting the other carry team in there as well, the other jungle team in there. And then tomorrow is when the solos will join the fray, and we'll start to see those 2 duke each other out. Then we'll do, I guess, what is the semifinals of this bracket tomorrow afternoon. Saturday is all roll versus roll, mid v mid, hunter v hunter, etc., to see just who's the better team of roll that exists. And we'll do 4 of those Saturday. If needed, as long as the finals are not like solo v solo, let's say, you'll have the 5th one Sunday morning. And so now, J-Mac, the thing is, who the hell are these people? Because we're looking at these teams, and I know everyone at home, unless you've done some really good memorization, or if you're like me and you just have the picture open, it can be easy to forget. Duo Q speaks for itself. Pegon, BennyQ, of course, going to be on that team, but alongside them is Captain Venenu, and then Snoopy and Hawkk that's going to join them. Nacho Gang, who they are taking on Twig, Sam, Panitom, Cyno, WorstTurttle. And I'm just now realizing a lot of world champs sitting on Nacho Gang just in general.
What's that, 1, 2, 3?
I want to say
4.
4.
4.
Yeah, 4.
No, 4.
Everyone but WorstTurtle.
Yeah. Wow.
And
that
not
is a
only
stacked
that,
team.
They weren't feeling. I don't think I've talked to a single person actually that has felt really good coming into their sets about their role swaps. So I'll ask you, J-Mac, if you had to anticipate mid or jungle as who's better out of role, who's got the better out of roles here?
Jungle feels like it could just be the most flexible. While you typically have some of the smaller god pools, usually you're sticking to pretty much assassins. A few times we had like auto attack warriors jump in, like
Sam
Osiris,
was playing
Gilgamesh.
mages there for a while.
Sam is probably one of the more flexible. I would say that in general, this is a team that probably has some good flexors for their roster. You could have CaptainTwig go back to one of his old roles of playing mid competitively, so you can always throw him there if you don't want him in jungle. Sam feels like he's got a pretty good god pool that can go towards maybe some support style of play, or maybe kind of bounce around if he wants to go mid instead. Cyno with his god pool feels like he's just a solo laner at heart, but stuck in a jungler's body at this point, so I wouldn't be surprised if we did see Cyno make his way over to the solo lane, play that same Nike inserter that he was playing at the very beginning of it all. I don't know, man. This Nacho Gang feels like they have some of the biggest powerhouses amongst everybody, even if it's not, maybe as mechanically crazy as some of the rest of the league. It feels like they are the most flexible team of the two, even given some of the competitive history that some of the members of Duo Q have had. It really does feel like Nacho Gang has a bit more of that opportunity just because of the nature of how many roles they've played competitively, whether that be recent, like in the case of CaptainTwig a few years back, you go over towards his mid-style of play. Other than that, I mean, Nacho Gang just feels at the top, and it's one of those, I would say 3 teams that were kind of alluded to maybe being some of the best drafted rosters alongside Duo Q and Solo Lane Slugger. So I think for my money's worth, at least early game tournament, this is probably one of the best matchups we're going to have.
What I think is interesting is I think Twig's direct quote was, our team name should have been Team Why Jungle Diff Doesn't Matter. Which shows where his confidence levels are going into this kind of thing. Because I think what their conversation, you know, based on what I'm understanding from them, Panitom, I believe, is the theorized jungler for the team, right? And I don't think they feel that confident in their other roles. But like you said, this is a team full of not only Worlds MVPs, but guys that have played a lot of various gods that should give them, and I think there's a key, like, underlined asterisk on should, maybe some flexibility splitting up into the roles across the map.
I just also want to,
except hunters.
You know, I also want to point out, you mentioned CaptainTwig maybe not feeling the best about his role, maybe his team in general. He may also just not feel that great about himself, because I was tuning into his stream yesterday.
Yeah, he'll say the same thing for a king set, right?
While we were having our meetings and whatnot yesterday, I had his stream open just kind of off to the side, and he was doing a tier list for like his kind of predictions with some recency bias and whatnot for the next phase of SPL. He put himself at the bottom. CaptainTwig voted himself and Variety at the bottom of his own list, so maybe a little bit of lack of confidence for himself immediately right away, but with this kind of a team piloted behind him, CaptainTwig's got to feel at least a little confident going into this.
Yeah, I think it is, like you said, he's one of those guys that, and honestly, even after a win sometimes, he'll just come out and be like, yeah, I played awful, but, you know, we got the win, and that's what matters. Everybody else, I think Sam, his only line that I really picked up that related to the set was, I'm a support main, baby, and I guess we'll find out if that is true as they play. Of course, the team that they're taking on is the one that, admittedly, even some of the solo laners we're talking about being a very good draft. Duo Q on the other side.
Great name.
And yeah, no, best name in the tournament, hands down. It's because of those guys sitting right next to us. The brothers, who, J-Mac, I can't count how many times we've gone on about them playing against each other, finally playing together this time around. And the fact that they're just so flexible, I think that's the thing that's going to make this very interesting, is knowing that both of them have a very wide god pool, have very good capabilities mechanically as well. And we had kind of mentioned this alongside players like Snoopy. It makes, I think, Vin and Hawkk's job a little easier, because you don't have to be the guy who's like stepping out of mid to play jungle right now. Pegon's doing that, because guess what? Pegon was doing that competitively last year anyway. And so you really do get to, I think, help your team, because your play style has been so eclectic in your competitive career.
I think for me, the one thing that stands out about the Q brothers themselves, Benny and Pegon, is they're both competitively mid laners currently. But it feels like the way that their flexibility in their god pool goes almost puts them towards opposite sides of the map. When I think of Pegon, I think of the hard carry, run it down style of player. He's going to pick the assassins, and he's just going to W key as long as he can. Then we look over more towards like what BennyQ's god pools have been for some of the more eclectic picks he's gone. I think Terra right away, Atlas. I've seen him play Ganesha in his ranked games as well. It feels like BennyQ moves more towards like this kind of solo lane style of play, where he is a force to be reckoned with, but he's going to be probably one of the tankier mid laners on the map. And then Pegon is going to be the squishy one, but he's going to be the one doing the brunt of damage. So it feels like if you put those two on a team, they split to opposite sides of the map almost, or you could even maybe put them in that duo synergy side by having Pegon as your jungler, and then having BennyQ as a solo laner could be a potential option for that team. Wouldn't be surprised if that's the split that we see those guys go towards, just because that's how it feels their playstyle kind of lands down there. I think then immediately looking at the rest of the roster, Venenu feels like he might be like the one captain of this event who wants to stick to his own role, aside from maybe Panitom up against him. So it feels like these are the captains who said, I'm drafting guys around me. I'm just going to kind of play my own role over everything else. Snoopy's flexible. He can go just about any role he wants. If he wants to play carry like he used to competitively, he can do that just fine. Probably the question then comes down to, is Hawkk better in that case as a carry, or do you have him as a support role? I think it doesn't quite matter entirely for it. I think this Duo Q team has a lot of potential with their squad, and same with the Nacho Gang. So I think this is going to be a very fun set.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's just start it. Game 1, picks and bans, Nacho Gang, Duo Q. Nacho Gang is going to be the first pick. And just a friendly reminder for how this is working. We're about to see 10 gods get locked in, 10 gods get banned. Anybody who's banned, they can get banned again. They can get played next game. If this goes 3, they can play it in Game 3 as well, assuming that it doesn't get played in Game 1 or in Game 2. Anything that gets locked in and is actually on the battleground can't touch it again. And that is making me pretty happy. So far, Set, Marty, Scotty, and Hebo banned out. 2 by Nacho Gang, 2 by DuoQ. I'm going to be honest with you, J-Mac.
I hope so.
I'm a little... Oh, yeah, if there's anything you should be, it's honest. I'm locked in on that Scotty because to me, it either means that Nacho Gang only has like one hunter that they can play, or there's someone over there that has to play it. I mean, it's not often we see Scotty up there that high.
It's Cyno.
Oh,
it's
good
Cyno.
point. It's Cyno.
I questioned it as well. I was sitting there, man, why would you ever ban a Scotty? Barracuda's not in this game. Like, why are you banning Scotty? And then I realized that Cyno is there. And Cyno, before he jumps back into the SPL, was playing the East set jungle, was playing the Scotty jungle, was playing anything that's not an assassin, anything that's not meta. Cyno had his name on it at that point. So banning that away makes sense, and especially because you're now putting Cyno, at least from what we can tell initially, will have his starting role over here into the hunter position, so giving him something that he did really well with in the jungle, take that away from him in the lane where it's actually designed to be in. Probably maybe a smart call there, but banning away the Hebo, the Hell, both those make sense. Those are both powerhouse style of picks. Flexibility all the while amongst those ones, so not surprised seeing those. The new Hawkk kind of stands out to me, but then again, we saw what Venenu was able to do with it during Divisional Stars, so maybe not as surprising to see that one banned out. But this one, the Sun Wukong, this is something that the players joked about in the lobby, saying this is probably the god we're going to see every single set picked up at least one time. For everybody who doesn't know how to play solo lane, this is probably the go-to god to play in that role.
I mean, you got to think about it, right? And I will self-admit, Wukong's my go-to solo laner because when I lock in Bologna, I get bodied because when I play Wukong, you bird form and you're away, or you summon Sort Cloud and you're away. Like, there's so many ways to get out of there as Wukong, and it's the handhold. It is the training wheels for solo lane. And I do like what you mentioned, at least with the new WA ban, because Vin locked it in any game that he could, and I remember after seeing it a few times, Mifflin just directly asked him, is there something I don't know? Is like Nuwa like secretly busted? What's going on here? And Vin goes, I have no idea. This is the first time I played her in like years. We're just like, oh, okay. So it was just on a whim. Maybe that's played into the Nacho Gang's brain. Maybe Nuwa's pretty good. Vin looked good on it last week, but again, banned out, so it won't be seen. Wukong you had talked about. Danza and Ganesh locked in for DuoQ. And Ganesh, J-Mac, talk about like a rise to stardom. What felt like Aurora only playing him in Masters, and then suddenly not only winning the tournament because Ganesh bans were coming through because he was so prominent, bringing it, I would argue, into the meta and reminding people how much of a nuisance Ganesh can be.
I think this even goes beyond Masters. Again, I love telling this story because it's just funny whenever we joke with the players sometimes about, you know, the fantasy league that we do sometimes here. And I drafted Aurora, and he picks a Ganesh game #1. I go to him and say, hey, man, you're on my fantasy team. I need some kills. You know, supports get some points for some kills. That's all that good. And he says, yeah, get ready. It's the year of the elephant. This was week 1 of the first phase. Yeah. And he says, nah, man, this is the year of Ganesh. And it feels like he just spoke this god into existence. And after the performance that we saw, not just throughout the regular phase, but through Masters, I'm willing to believe him. I mean, having a channeled silence where you can essentially tell multiple players, hey, you can't do anything here for 2-3 seconds. By the way, my team is also even tankier while I'm doing this. Dharmic Pillars are always great when you want to have some kind of objective burn or just prot shred against enemy teams. It makes it to where you can go a couple extra mages because you have that extra amount of shred. Plus just the amount of damage that he has and the lockdown. It just makes him such a great god to synergize with almost anybody. And I'm already looking at dual lane synergy with the Danzaburou. Throw out the rocket, Dharmic Pillar as soon as you hit your stun target, a knockup that follows after. There's so much single target lockdown that can come from a Ganesh comboed with just about anybody that I have no complaints seeing it on a team. It's great around objectives. It's great in team fights. You can either be that frontliner or you can sit back and be more of that protector style of play in the back line.
And what's impressive to me is that Nacho Gang locked in Sobek in response. Sobek, as we have come to know, is very hit or miss. Quite literally, if you hit your pluck, admittedly, you're still out of position usually at that point, but it can mean something good if you have follow-up. if you miss your pluck, you're just in the middle of nowhere. And the thing that stands out to me, J-Mac, is the counterplay that immediately comes into my mind, which is if Sobek go for pluck, silence Sobek. And it's a pretty big cone to hit when it comes down to trying to silence a moving crocodile. So that might be something Nacho Gang struggle with. They locked in the Olorun alongside that, Huang, which ties us back to the fact that you can get the Avatar Roku Huang skin in-game right now, so if you want to, go get the Avatar chest. And then the bands that come through, Lancelot, Thor, Susano, Naja. Not surprised to see a lot of jungle bans, especially up against the jungle team. So with Atlas locked in as well.
That's BennyQ's.
Which has to, yeah, I mean, it has to be Benny, and if he's locking it in, it has to be solo, right? There's no way he's taking that anywhere else.
No, Benny would take it.
He would play it mid.
He'd play a mid. He would play a jungle if given the opportunity, and he would definitely play solo.
I really don't want him to.
If he's support, he's playing it there. Probably the only position he doesn't play Atlas is carry, but I would still see Benny flexing it there. This is essentially an any role god for BennyQ. One of his favorite.
But you just described every god for BennyQ.
That's fair. Between him and Pegon, you can play just about anything, anywhere, which is probably what makes that duo so difficult to draft against over the course of their phase of actual competitive history, whether they were there in the SCC or in the SPL. But they still need what we assume will be their jungle pick for Duo Q. So Nacho Gang kind of gets to get the pick of the litter in that regard. A lot of no play zone between the Sobek and the Olorun for Nacho Gang. You have the giant sanctified field, slows down time. Nobody wants to fight inside of there. If you're on the enemy team, all of your team wants to then W key out and extend those CC durations, especially if you get Sobek plucked or Sobek tail whipped inside of sanctified field. You're in the air for pretty much the entire duration of that ability if you get caught out inside of it. So beads are going to have to be on the mind of Duo Q to try and get away, not just from the Sobek, but if you get caught inside of the sanctified field. And I think that the Ravana is a really good answer to that, because you have two different ways to get in or get out of the field to try and deal with this Olorun, have some kind of chase down. But for now, Nacho Gang mostly zone control with at least the top three of theirs, but then a lot of individual picks. This feels like Sobek or Awilix is going to grab somebody, and that somebody needs to be dead the moment they hit the ground.
Kill him. It is a pick comp. AMC is well locked in, which is something that we haven't seen in a long time. And it's, I mean, I guess he's been in a delicate balance, which is if Marty's there, he's just AMC but better. And if Marty's not there, well, I guess AMC's just Marty but like worse, right? So you know, you lock him in, do some of the same damage, similar styles, maybe less survivability, at least as far as mid goes. It's gonna create, man, it's gonna be an interesting dynamic. Raven locked in, and you know, me and you had been, at least the last game that we saw, right, was Raven solo, Raven jungle. Unless they're absolutely insane, there should be Raven going into the jungle. And it feels like he's got a lot of merits. I mean, this guy's been balanced between both roles, I think solo and jungle as of late. We've seen him err more towards solo, but it's getting closer and closer to like a 60-40 split than it has been in the past. It just feels survivable. I mean, I see two tanks, Huang with a good disengage, Danza with a good disengage, and Raven who's Raven. So it feels like Duo Q can maybe have a little bit of allowable mistakes because their roster lets themselves get away with things.
You've got a decent bit of non-committal engage in a sense for Duo Q, because you have Gamma Ray Burst. You can throw that at a decent range, drop that down, then create the long-range actual laser burst shot that follows through. You can throw out the rocket from Danzaburou from a range. As long as there's no walls nearby, you usually have a pretty good line to your target. And then you've also kind of got this Ganesha. Throw out Dharmic Pillars. That's got a decent bit of range. So you have a lot of tools for Duo Q to kind of get into a fight without actually needing to commit to being in that fight. You can kind of just throw a few abilities out there and kind of test the waters, where it really feels like Nacho Gang, their primary struggle is going to be who's going to be the one that wants to engage, who's going to be the one who wants to jump into that backline to try and deal with this Danza, to deal with this Huang. Is it going to be the Awilix? Is it going to be the Sobek or the Sun Wukong? So this is more of that all-in style of play, that real run-it-down style of feel for Nacho Gang, where Duo Q can kind of sit back and coast a little bit more, have a little bit more safety for themselves. I think the play around objective is probably going to be a much bigger question and topic of conversation, at least for Duo Q, because they've got decent area control, but you've got essentially double Hunter on the other side with the Olorun and the AMC that can really nail these ones down. So I think for this, it's going to come down to a lot of the fights around Fire Giant, similar to what we saw in our very first set.
Now, the question I have for you, do you have a preference, like Olorun, AMC mid? I guess we'll find out as we jump into Olorun duo. We'll see. Jump into game one, and here's the good news. You're going to be sticking with us. It's me and J-Mac who are going to cast through this one. Of course, Doug giving us the views into the battleground. we go between these two teams. Nacho Gang, you had called it Olorun in the duo. Is there any reason you like him more over there? I feel like he's just less susceptible to ganks.
That's the main thing with it, is that by being in the duo lane, you only have essentially one avenue where a jungler can go for a gank. I mean, sure, they could come from the lower end of the shield buff versus the upper end of the shield buff, or kind of that mid wall there. But being in mid, there's 2 different areas where that jungler could go through where you have to be much more cautious. Sure, your ultimate is still going to be good no matter which lane you're in, but it feels like there's so much more commitment for a jungler to have to try and go for that gank over in a duo lane.
Yeah.
It just allows Olorun to be that much
And
safer.
you really gotta hope your ult's up most of the time to avoid it as well.
As long as you have ultimate or beads up as an Olorun, you're probably fine. The unfortunate part is he is going up against a Ravana, which is mostly just damage. Sure, there's the single target slow and root that comes with them, but as long as you have ultimate and or beads available, I don't see a world where Cyno should be dying to any rotations. However, if both of those are down at any point, that is the freest target in the world for Pegon to die, because as soon as you go, you just wait and bait out that heal from him. Now you have no knockback, or you just overhead kick the knockback and you still have your chase going.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of, I guess, versatility. Sam, look, he called himself a support main, and he's playing like one, getting aggressive super early on. Lucky for him, level 1 isn't necessarily the most deadly on the other side. Could try to hit a pluck, but that's where the Bastions come in handy. So it's a little bit of control for Nacho Gang in the duo lane. BennyQ on Atlas solo. Yeah, man, there's so many things to break down in that one sentence. You know, whether I want to ask you about BennyQ on Atlas, or Atlas in solo, or BennyQ in solo. And that's just the 2-part combinations, let alone putting them all 3 together. Up against a Wukong, it feels like that edge should go towards WorstTurttle in terms of comfort and what God does, but as the game goes on, J-Mac, and if there's anything I learned from the last one, it's that mid laners don't mind dragging the games out a little longer. I feel like the Atlas is going to be able to get a lot done.
Atlas is one of the few Guardians in the game that doesn't need to build a whole lot of damage to do a whole lot of damage. You can get maybe a single flat pen item, or maybe even in BennyQ's case, just a starter item, and you're going to do a lot of damage no matter what.
Now, this is what's great for him. A good pickup. Unfortunately, WorstTurttle is Wukong. And as you had mentioned earlier, because he's so survivable, he just walks out of that. Well, I guess he ox forms out of that one. It's not as simple as a walk, but keeps things, man, from kicking off as early as I was really hoping for him to. Junglers, outside of that small gank, kind of quiet. What pace does Panitom want in this game? Like, does he want it to be fast? Does he want knockups? Does he want to keep it at this rate where he's just kind of farming? It feels like he's been one to play kind of to the styles of the team around him, and to success at that.
Awilix is one that has a lot of great early damage and kind of falls off a little bit in the mid game, and then late game can kind of transition themselves away from being that real assassin style of play and can kind of just do their own thing. So I like him getting aggressive here early in the solo lane.
Oh,
should be able to get a kill onto BennyQ. Good feather step to secure that kill out. First blood now for Nacho Gang, but for Panitom, this is his best early power spike is right before that level 5. Once he hits 5, obviously easy kill potential, especially since he doesn't have beads over on the solo lane for BennyQ, so he can just walk right over if he gets that knock up. You got a great target. But it's this point of the game, and then I would say in about another 20 or so minutes where Panitom really starts to come online.
There is an example of the ohm that causes so much trouble for people who are dealing with it. But Sam, right now, well, you know what? I've got to say, he learned from the best. It feels like you're watching an annoying support player do annoying support player things. Was that pluck really going to get anything? No. But did he do it anyway and then go for a knock-up afterward because poke is poke? Absolutely. And so, he's at least got the spirit right. Sanctified Fields get dropped here. Hawkk is locked down for a little bit. They need more damage to try and get the kill, though. Cyno, Sam, they're looking for the pressure, but just unable to find it. Now Snoopy going for some body blocks. Great beads to avoid the pluck. Allows him to walk away. And what felt like a surefire kill falls apart, but you have to be careful. Panitom in the jungle, looking for a knock-up. If he finds the right angle, there's going to be one, and then the pull in easy. Clean-up autos are there, and Panitom, the second kill of the game. Just on the side, not able to find the back or stop the back of Pegon. So you know what, J-Mac, he's going to walk away 1 kill happier.
Yeah, 2 kills up now for Panitom. He's got his Jotun's Wrath online. That ultimate already a fairly short cooldown, knock it down by another 20%, is going to make it that much easier. And just like I was saying earlier, is once you're pre-level 5 is a really strong point for Awilix. Level 5 power spike, getting that ultimate, especially when you have so many free targets to get the knockup from. And anytime that we see Awilix's, we always wonder, okay, what's the composition around the Awilix? Like, how many knockups are there to kind of supplement this Awilix, allow her to get those free pulls without the Awilix needing to jump in and commit all of their kit in order to do so? And when you got a Sun Wukong and a Sobek alongside it, I mean, this feels like it's a dream for Panitom. The only thing he could probably ask more for is that you have something like a Vulcan in the mid lane for CaptainTwig instead. Otherwise, he's got so many targets he can pull on his own.
Panitom playing aggressively. And J-Mac, the one thing when I see something like this, and this is the glory of the listen-ins that we've been having, is I'm kind of curious because we heard some of the mid laners earlier.
Did we? I thought we didn't hear any of them.
Yeah, we didn't hear them. I'm kind of curious, though, for Nacho Gang specifically, what kind of synergy they have going on. It feels like junglers are usually pretty vocal. It feels like to get this Awilix working the way they have it working, they need to be pretty vocal. And so I believe, without further ado, we can jump in, see what Nacho Gang sounds like as they keep setting up these kills.
I'm going to my speed.
It's fine. He didn't even split with it, so. I do want to split though. That's fine. I'm up so much gold. That's what I like to hear.
I can oh fuck.
I don't have Blink, but I think is Danzaburou still down or no?
Yeah, because it might be
Yeah. I'm gonna be covering right. I'm gonna try to gank
Ganesha's
that.
in mid. He's there.
I'm in a zone. I'm in a zone. We should zone him.
Yeah,
He's gonna be under target. He's just
the Danza did work
He
here,
ulted
but
blue.
I have Blink in 10. I think I'll beat then, but
I have Blink and knock up for you if you want.
No, I'm backing.
I have Blink in 2. Danza's back.
I'm gonna be.
That's fine. I'm just gonna keep zoning him.
reset.
I'm gonna zone him from this entire wave.
Lefts are coming up soon.
I'm gonna rotate lefts.
Yeah, I come. I wanna like.
Yeah, I'm coming
dip.
too. I'm gonna do speed and go.
You can cover mid maybe. Oh, we'll see.
I'm gonna proxy. Where's Robin?
Nice.
I do have Blink.
Push.
Robin's left.
I'm pushing.
Yeah, can we fight at this
Wanna
Brock
play
Amber
Shiva?
now?
Yeah, he doesn't
Wanna
have
play
beads.
Shiva?
Yeah, I can knock
Okay,
him
okay,
up
on
for
my
you.
way. On my way. I don't have blink.
He's on it.
They're on it right now.
Okay,
I'm
waiting
here.
for you, yeah.
No eyes on you, Hang. Oh, he's right here.
Nice
That's
peek.
Ganesha
To the
ulti.
Ganesh dash from him. That's so funny.
Someone is TPing.
Oh,
I
I have ult. I have ult. Can we help?
Yeah, we can help.
Ganesh,
He
yeah,
dash.
He's missing a lot.
I plucked Nash.
Just back.
You Hang dash in mid here.
I just proxied the.
It's too fucking easy,
I don't
dude.
fuck this guy too.
Oh fuck.
Oh shit.
Wait, when I go in mid, I proxied.
He's good. Have his 3 up now.
I can.
You could try, yeah. If you knock
I have
him
a
up
blink.
or.
Bunch of hammer.
I'm gonna keep zoning
He's
him.
kind of aware.
You
He
want to?
keeps looking
Yeah.
at you.
I mean,
keeps
he's
looking.
just
It's not
fucked.
good. It's not good.
It's fine.
He's level 6. He's so fucked. I'm just
Mid
keep
Terra,
zoning him.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
Robin here.
You can drop it if you want to go.
You're alone, Penny.
I mean, I just.
Yeah, I'm fine.
They say it best, J-Mac.
Just
It's too easy. It's too easy for him, man. And look, it's sometimes it's just like what a good gank, and I think you get to see and hear a lot of the difference, at least, of what they're thinking compared to what we heard a little bit earlier. A lot of communication on positioning.
And right now, a rocket in from Snoopy could be dangerous. Pegon still gonna fight back in. Cyno's probably gonna be the one who goes down here. And unfortunately, Panitom just can't do anything to turn the tides. And this is the downside of whenever you don't have ultimate as Olorun. You had beads, but not having that sanctified field against the Ravana feels so bad. Sam's gonna have to be the saving grace for
Good
Pegon.
blink from Panitom as well, just to stay alive. Poor Pegon, bullied under the tower. Man, what a play. Look, you lose your blink, you save your life. Definitely worthwhile to help get a kill there. Keep it 4-0-2 in the jungle. And J-Mac, look, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. 6-1, 8.5 in. But 2,500 gold in the lead for Nacho Gang right now. You're 2,700 experience. You're farming better. Your team fight's been looking a little bit better. Starting to think that Twig might have been lying to me about jungle diff.
They always do. When have we ever gotten like a holistically truthful statement from a player about how good or bad, X or Y may be? They're always really they're always really honest about their opponents. Sometimes, okay, they're like 50-50 on their opponents. Well, they'll be like, yeah, these guys are like really good. This is gonna be like a really fun set for us, and it ends up being a stop. Sometimes you get the case like that. But then you get moments where we used to ask questions like, hey, who do you think is like the biggest problem on that team? Like, who's the biggest threat? And that's when you get some of the real honesty that comes out from some of those players. But, I mean, going back to that gank on the left side, that was a call of, hey, shield buff's about to come up. And that just immediately, you just saw the light bulb turn on for Panitom. He's like, I got to be there. We're going to fight for this shield buff no matter what. We are going for this kill. And when I heard I have Blink knockup, immediately my mind turned and said, which one of the two said that? Was that Sam? Or was that WorstTurttle who said that? Because either way, that's a potential kill for Panitom. And that makes the engage so much easier now for Nacho Gang, because you can have Wukong, Blink Ox. And now if you hit even 2 or 3 people, you have a whole bunch of different options for Panitom to try to pull somebody. Sam for soccer doesn't necessarily need to commit the pluck now for the actual engage. He can go for a Blink Tail Whip. That's a target that now Panitom can pull back in. Save pluck if he needs to for later. Or wait out the beads as soon as it's done, and then pluck them back after. This is a dangerous composition that Nacho Gang has because of how easy of execution they have for pick potential. My worry does come down to the late game team fights once these blinks are gone, and once this Awilix ult is offline. How does the rest of the team kind of pull together?
We got Beacon in 2, but Gold Fury right now, and an easy pull in and destroy for the Nacho Gang. They take that very simply. Now a little bit of a fight afterwards. Sam maybe in the most trouble. Sanctified Fields disappear, though. Rocket goes deep, but nice CCC immunity. Still not enough to get Sam out of there, at least not as far as he would like. Support for Fury. Easy pickups for the Nacho Gang. A little bit of bullying on top of it. Duo Q, though. JMac grabbing onto whatever they can, whenever they can. Unfortunately for them, it is still keeping them at a pretty heavy deficit gold-wise.
Fury for support. Nacho Gang will, almost any competitive team will take that trade any day of the week. Sure. That's just the unfortunate part about being a support, is you are more often than not the sacrificial lamb at these kinds of objectives. Sam goes forward, he tries to zone out, ends up getting beads away from Hawkk to start that fight, so no pluck target back for Panitom in that case. But then Sam still sticks around after the tail whip. He's still sitting there saying, okay, maybe I can pluck somebody, maybe I can stand forward. As soon as that Sanctified Field dropped down from Cyno, that should have just been the call for Sam to pluck back, go towards his team, now try and break out. But because he stuck around so long, you had the knockup come through from Hawkk that was extended a little bit longer because of that Sanctified Field. And it's made it so much harder for Sam to escape. Pegon is able to blink over the wall, save ult for the continued chase after. And then Snoopy jumps up in the rocket, and it's one of the strengths of Danzaburou is how easy he is able to chase opponents down inside of the jungle. And unfortunately, we're this early in the game where supports only have a single defensive item online, being Gauntlet of Thebes. Not enough protection to deal with all that damage going your way.
Green buff invade successful from Nacho Gang now. Stygian Beacon in control. Hawkk pulled in, surrounded by 3, but there's a little help this time. Darvik Pillars tossed up, get some damage spread. Pegon, BennyQ looking into the back, trying to find Cyno. One more hit, and Benny's able to pick that up. Panitom jumps in deep, but he's surrounded by 2. The brothers Q find him and get the job done. Kill him off and make it look clean. Duo Q in the blink of an eye, JMac. I mean, they're just cleaning this up. 3 for 1. They lose Hawkk, but pick up so many crucial kills.
He almost died.
Almost forced WorstTurttle there as well. Benny laughs at death, helps his team capture the beacon. And what a fight from Duo Q. So keep things interesting and, more importantly, pull things right back towards even. With this tower going down in mid, the beacon going their way. Starting to enter 1,200 gold lead. I mean, they cut it in half.
Now, I don't want to discredit Duo Q for how well they did play the second half of that fight. The one thing I want to highlight immediately that made that fight go so well for Duo Q is that it was a pluck immediately to grab Hawkk, pulls him back. Panitom says, okay, I'm going to ult. But CaptainTwig either doesn't get that communication or they didn't say anything, and he also ults, and that stinger goes right under Hawkk as he's being pulled back. And so now they don't have the cripple that comes after, so Hawkk is able to freely dash and move around. They miss out on a huge chunk of damage that you could have gotten from that Muzen Cob right away. And they just miss out on an easy kill opportunity there. It then extends the fight, the chase to try and kill the Ganesh. Yes, they get Hawkk at the end of the day, but they could have done it 3 seconds faster if they didn't throw Stinger into a whole abyss of nothingness at that point through, missing out on damage. After that, that's when BennyQ and Pegon are able to team up, get that return fire there. BennyQ stays around for literally as long as he could without him dying. I looked up, and at one point he's sitting around 10 HP at the very end of that fight. And that's just the synergy that the brothers have together on a team like this. You put them in a solo and a jungle, you give them their traditional styles of play, now fitting to the roles that they were able to play in. It feels like even with the amount of communication Nacho Gang showed us in their initial listen-in, just feels like the execution on field is going in favor of Duo Q.
Team fights, from what we've seen, has mattered the most. Duo Q. It's been an interesting team for me, J-Mac. I guess they're going to keep that up as they put some pressure on the mid. Should be an easy one. Also, Crispy Taters winning 10,000 gems. While Duo Q is out here winning team fights. Maybe spoke too soon. 1-for-1. Vin gets plucked. A good back and forth between the two. 8-6 now, 15 minutes in. A little bit of a chase down for Sam.
WorstTurttle.
WorstTurtle's coming around the corner as well. Good silence from the Ganesh, but you need a little more damage, and Benny is here to provide. Unfortunately, locked down in the Sanctified Fields. Keeping it 2-for-2 between these teams, and the aggression's going to fall apart.
Glad Shield's great for getting a little bit of extra poke damage, some good physical defense. Unfortunate for BennyQ, Glad Shield doesn't have magic defense, and he ran immediately into Cyno, who's probably the worst person that he wants to fight at this point. Even with the dash going such a long range, helping out your team, it's not going to help you if Sanctified Field is anywhere nearby. So as long as Cyno is on the scene, BennyQ is going to have a bit of a tougher time. But Nacho Gang going for Fire Giant 15 minutes in? This is an early and a wild call.
Yeah, this is one I want to know what's going on, honestly, for them. Nacho Gang setting up for a Fire Giant, still unanswered. And so let's go ahead and listen in to what they were talking about.
I'm going to defend mid.
Danza's around mid.
Oh, the Raven's here. The Raven's here.
Okay, I'll back.
I'm here mid.
You're alone there, mid.
Watch out, mid. They've got numbers.
Nice. Raven ult.
Raven ult.
I kind of want to get the
Raven ult for my ult.
Are they on gold?
No. I'm trying to
Yo, guys, I have hasten now. I have hasten.
I don't have beads or ult for 30 seconds.
Atlas had to beat. Atlas had to beat Raven ult. It's a good fight. It's a good fight.
Gold's up, by the way.
You guys hear me though, right? I have
You hang
hasten
there.
for my sprint, so hasten autos. Ben and Cyno.
Yeah.
Sure. We're doing gold or
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we should group on gold. We can get left tower too with fire.
Let's get left wave up first, maybe.
Okay,
They're
I
probably-
went
they're probably just gonna
ult
try
on a
to
knockup.
split.
I'll ult on your ult, Penny.
Yeah, they're just gonna
So-
split. They're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
gonna
happens
split.
again.
Yeah, they got to split.
We should push left, I think.
I'm gonna back it, defend right.
We should maybe try to
I'm
split.
gonna be
and you
careful
can
mid.
defend well.
I can't be there.
I'll defend right. It's fine.
I'm gonna
have to
counter
be?
play mid.
No, I don't know. I don't
Okay,
blink
okay. There is 4 people right jungle. Start pushing left. Start pushing left.
Do you guys want
I'm
me
gonna
there?
go left. I'm gonna go left.
I think they're gonna
Yeah,
twist
they're
for
all
mid
here.
kill me.
I think they're.
Yeah.
I can stay to defend.
Two.
You can leave Sam. I'll
They're
be fine. I
living.
think.
We're gonna fight it.
A clean Fire Giant pickup, and I guess just recognition at this point, J-Mac, but not much that they need to be worried about. Maybe getting aggressive in the right side jungle. Some damage thrown towards Vin. Twig off on the side. But really, it feels like they're just buying time for Cyno. Also, very important moment in there, which is that we've got the hastened wings online,
Yes.
which means hastened autos whenever Sam pops that.
That was the most important thing I gather from there. Also, I don't know if you heard the little slip in there where CaptainTwig says, "I can't be here," and then somebody said, "Ha, I can't be," and they just hit him back with an extra pun. And I thought that was funny. I couldn't tell who was the one who made the B joke immediately after it, but I do appreciate a moment like that. No, Nacho Gang just recognition.
Those are the comms we're looking for.
That's the ones. Look, if you're not dropping puns and jokes in my comms, I don't know if I want you in my comms. But
timers, overrated.
who cares about timers? Who cares about objectives? You got to have some fun. You got to tell some jokes. And, well, you got to pull some Aegises, some beads
wow.
away. Snoopy needs everything he can, but he's got nothing left in the tank.
Yeah, Sam in the waters right now. Doesn't even need the damage. Uses the pluck to get away. Panitom, Turtle, CaptainTwig, and Cyno all in a spot to get aggressive. But with Cyno's ult down, might slow the roll around the Phoenix. That was an early Fire Giant. Picked up sub 16. But it's been paying off after things were starting to go towards Duo Q early on. So now, J-Mac, we find ourselves a mid lane team where the only towers left standing are over in solo lane. 2 Phoenixes exposed. a little over a minute to deal with the power play and the Fire Giant belt that everybody on Nacho Gang has. So if you're them, where are you looking? I mean, it feels like they've got a lot of work to do, both map state-wise, team fight-wise was starting to feel pretty good, but all it took was one solid call from Nacho Gang to undo that. Now they're going all in on Cyno. Relics have been used, and at this point, there's not much else he can do. No ult.
This is
trying to
taking
buy
too
time,
long.
but they don't have the damage. Cyno gets to walk away. And man, it is just clean. Now Snoopy in a little bit of trouble. Has to use the rocket for a disengage. I don't know, J-Mac. Nacho Gang's just coming up out of every fight the last few times on top.
That took way too long for DuoQ to realize that they were not going to kill Cyno. Cyno had no ult. He didn't have his beads. He had to use his Aegis during that fight. 3 people under the tower, and Cyno, without an ultimate, is staring back and just going, okay, cool. I'm just going to keep sitting here, pushing my hands out, shooting an orb at you, and for some reason, DuoQ just respected that instead of all-inning on top of him. After that, Panitom's able to find out Snoopy inside of the jungle, deals the exact same amount of damage that 3 people dealt to Cyno by himself to Snoopy, gets an ultimate away from Snoopy, forces him to rocket out. So 2 players just completely thwarted the plans of 4. Meanwhile, the other 3 players of Nacho Gang were able to push out a tier 1 and a tier 2 tower on the right side.
Yeah.
At this point for DuoQ, you got to make the commitment. If you want to go for a kill on Cyno and you know his ultimate is down, make that dive. If you're scared of the ultimate, don't make a dive under the tier 1 tower. But if you want to go for that kill, you have got to make the commit, because you can't spend 15 seconds trying to kill an Olorun with, what's that, like 15% lifesteal to his name at that point. Not a whole lot of damage sustained. He already used the heal that got immuned by the Ravana at that point. You got to commit, DuoQ. If you want to go for that kind of a kill on a target that fragile, on a target that easy to take down without his relics and his resources, it shouldn't take you 10 to 15 seconds to make that decision.
Yeah, at this point, I don't even know if they can step up to the Fire Giant. This is probably the call that they'll make. Gold Fury, pulled by DuoQ. Try to balance things out. It's 10,000 gold separating these 2 teams. That'll chunk it down just a step closer for DuoQ. Unfortunately, it's going to come at a cost. FG spawned in. 4 members of Nacho Gang already here. You have to imagine this is going to be a clean, quick pickup. So it's just going to be about defenses towards the future. Phoenix is exposed. I mean, J-Mac, this is dangerous territory for DuoQ.
DuoQ does have the luxury of having at least a decent siege defense. You have the Huang, you have the Danzaburou, both gods that can get some easy defense for themselves, but what they've got to defend up against is equally as dangerous. You have great initiation from Sam for Soccer. Him and WorstTurttle can both just blink into the backline and go for their knock-up to try and set up for Panitom. Then they have their actual escapes after if they need to just disengage from the fight. There's a lot of opportunities for Nacho Gang to get into a fight and be able to get out. They have so much safety in that regard because of the way they've allocated their relics towards their frontliners. And even for Panitom, if he just wants to blink in and just get the job done himself, well, hey, he can kind of do that too. Also, Awilix ultimate, if you don't use it for pulls, is just a really good stim. The increased attack speed and power that she gets just from popping that ultimate is really good for pushing down objectives, for pushing down towers and structures. Just such a great utility to this god at that point. I mean, look, you get 60 power and 70% attack speed for 6 seconds.
Hey, that's pretty good.
That is an insane amount of utility that comes from that one button press for this god that Panitom doesn't need the ultimate for pulling anybody back. He's got 2 other players that can help displace for him.
Well, right now, DuoQ are stuck under their Phoenixes. Fire Giant for Nacho Gang. And we've done a lot of listening to Nacho Gang in this game because they've been doing well. But now with their backs against the walls, we're going to go ahead and jump into where DuoQ are, see how they're going to handle this push.
Olorun is in mid.
I'm just gonna hover between.
So
You're going in, right?
I'm ulting this guy. Yep.
That's all.
I pulled him, he's dead.
So Wukong or
Nice.
yeah, nice.
Olorun is in mid.
Just defend bird, I need to
say
defend bird.
you're
Yeah, just defend it. There's a wave coming,
They're still trying to push in, there's a wave coming in.
I'm
I'm gonna blink on
Trying to bomb
Olorun.
it. Bomb. Got it.
Let's kill him off
Olorun,
this.
Olorun.
I have ult. I sent it to this guy.
I got Olorun beats Aegis, Olorun beats Aegis, and
Wukong Tiger down.
AFC beats as well.
Bird
Is still up, bird is still
Olorun's
up.
Olorun's blink down,
blink.
Olorun's
Wukong Tiger down.
Can we reset and defend bird? It's bird.
I need base, I need base.
I don't have ult.
I need to base.
They might, like, try to
suicide for this.
AMC is
Oh,
there.
Olorun's no blink, Olorun's no blink.
They're leaving. They're going beacon, I think.
Olorun beats Aegis down as well, by the way.
Can we chase him to Pyro maybe?
They're going beacon.
Maybe we go Pyro. Can we fight him?
Good. I'm a little poked.
Am's
There's
seen
no
it.
blink there.
I have everything. Well, 250. I'm kind of
Yeah, I
useless.
think we're late. I think
Olo
we're
has
late.
no relics right now. Olo has no relics.
I think we just go Pyro if she backs.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm kind of useless here. Let's just do the
Yeah, let's do Pyro.
thing.
I'm not gonna save for secure. I'll just DPS.
I don't see anybody coming through mid, so just be through the jungle.
Titans are gonna be in mid. They don't have a low for it.
I don't think we fight in lane. Or like, fine. I want to get 20 here.
I mean, honestly, we
full
don't
level
even
up.
have to fight this as FG. They
Don't-
still don't have a thing.
The right way.
Successful defense, Relic stripped. Olo doesn't have any, and they know exactly to deal with the Olorun, where they're at. The issue right now, J-Mac, they get the Pyromancer. Titans going to be coming down mid in just a second as they get unleashed. That might cause a little bit of trouble. You can see now positioning from Nacho Gang very aggressive. But they didn't sound out of sorts. You know, comms were still clean. Comms were still exactly what you would expect from a team that thinks they can hold on to it. So I'll ask you straight up, how's their defense feel, especially after having seen it once?
Now knowing that they've gotten relics on the side of Nacho Gang away, DuoQ actually has even better of a defense if they push up to Phoenix. But as mentioned at this Titan, as long as Olorun ultimate is down, it's still pretty viable for DuoQ. Problem is now that Olorun ult is back up, so once this Titan goes down, Nacho Gang can easily set up for another fight. Blink is already up and available for WorstTurttle, but unfortunate, they got spotted out by Venenu, who does a whole lot of damage. I think it may... No, it wasn't any ward, at least that I could see. It may have just accidentally poked their head out a little bit too much. Or it could just be the heads-up awareness from Venenu. As a mid laner, you do tend to have to kind of have that second sense knowing around these walls, okay, there's no tower here. Jungler's probably standing right there waiting for a push. This is what we see all the time at our Phoenixes. So maybe just has that kind of heads-up mentality to know that somebody might be around the corner. Throws out a stray ability, ends up finding two, and that, unfortunately for Nacho Gang, ends their potential pushing up with this Titan. But as far as the defense for DuoQ goes, you know, kind of rounding back to that where it comes to the Phoenixes, we saw how it worked out. Sanford Soccer, as soon as he blinks to the backline, instead of Hawkk using Dharmic Pillar to try and maybe lock Sanford Soccer in or try and grab one of these frontliners, he throws it towards the carries. He throws out that Dharmic Pillars, it keeps Cyno away, it keeps CaptainTwig away, and then forces Sam to then have to walk back through a Dharmic Pillar, which is not a fun thing to do as a tank, when you also have a Danzaburou and a Huang trying to pelt damage into you.
Yeah.
So it made it just that much more difficult for Sam to come back. I mean, sure, you could drop down into ultimate, but you still have to take that prot shred going back through. So it's just good defense in having Dharmic Pillar, but also being able to throw a rocket from range. Huang is great on offense and defense with the dueling dragons, being able to either displace somebody, pull their beads, pull their ages. So I like the siege defense that DuoQ has. I think it just needs a little bit more unanimous communication coming from Nacho Gang as their commitment to say, do we want to go for bird or do we want to go for fight?
Well, getting that last Pyromancer's actually helped them out quite a bit here, knowing they don't have to deal with a Runic Bomb. Pretty easy to clear up the minion waves between Venenu, Benny, Snoopy. And with this Fire Giant not enhanced yet, we're now in a, honestly, maybe a little bit of a stalemate. You can still see pressure from Nacho Gang. In control. Good pull from Benny. It's just a little bit of poke. Dharmic Pillars comes through. WorstTurttle barely onto the Somersault Cloud in time. But makes it up, gets some healing, falls back. Still full health bars. Beads down for Pegon. Otherwise, relics up for DuoQ. The other side, it's just the Bracer they're going to be missing out on. Blink being available for Panitom. Changes a lot. They've been going in for some Blink knockups, combinations. There's going to be a pull. There's the Sanctified Fields, but DuoQ get to walk out of that one. Phoenix does go down. They're still alive for now, though. Snoopy, along with Vin, have to make it back to the fountain. Lose two birds in the blink of an eye. Pegon low has to jump away. And even though Nacho Gang aren't able to find any kills, J-Mac, they get something a little more important. Pretty wide open base now.
Two Phoenixes down. A lot of that starts off from Panitom actually being able to pull the beads from Pegon. That's why those end up going down. Is Panitom gets a stray Jaguar over the wall, ends up getting the knockup, tries to go for the pull. Pegon then has to beads because he's in the air and doesn't have another way to get away from it. And so that makes it to where Pegon can no longer really take that 1v1 up against Panitom. He's not able to go for that immediate fight anymore. Opens up a chance in mid. But the ultimate no-play zone, Sanctified Field, as long as Cyno has that up for an actual siege, there's not much that DuoQ can actually do to defend against it. If Robin's all the way in mid, they don't have anybody to dive into the backline to try and deal with them. The Rocket's not going to do a whole lot. It's just going to be kind of moving throughout there, and unfortunate for him if he does hit Cyno, if Snoopy does land up against his ideal target of Cyno. Cyno has a little bit of CCR while sitting inside that Sanctified Field, so that stun's not going to be as impactful. The whole team is just going to be able to run through, and because DuoQ doesn't have an answer to Sanctified Field anymore, you drop that at a Phoenix, they're not going to want to stand inside there. The slow, if you get hit by a single knockup, you're in the sky forever. Any CC just lasts that much longer against DuoQ. So they can't fight under Phoenix. As soon as they lose Pegon, who's probably one of their best answers to it, one of their best fighters around that point, they have to concede the Phoenix at that point, give that one over to Nacho Gang. And because Panitom won the 1v1 with Pegon, took his beads away from him for just an ultimate at that point. And, oh, by the way, Panitom's ultimate comes up like every 40-some-odd seconds at this point. He can essentially do that 2 or 3 times before those beads ever return. Pegon's not going to want to take that fight, so Panitom's able to clean up mid-Phoenix.
Very easy for him. I was going to say to get aggressive. I don't think I need to really say it. He's just proving it. Jumps onto Suku there. Chases Pegon a little further back. Poised for the left side Phoenix. The bees starting to spread. Damage is out there. Sam plays it carefully. Sanctified Field's dropped by Cyno. Takes a lot of damage in the process. Able to walk away from this one. That's a big ult off the board. Keeps both relics for the team fight. Panitom looking for essentially a loophole, whether it's into the win or into the fight. Unfortunately for him, he's not able to find either. Fire Giant's going to wear off relatively soon. So Nacho Gang back away, 2 Phoenixes. And now 1 Fury richer than when they started that FG push. Oh, and Panitom dies.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not fun for Nacho Gang. That's now 60 seconds with Fire Giant going to be coming up right around the same time that the respawn happens. So Panitom's going to have to hoof it all the way back to that Fire Giant. But that defense just comes from the combo of Hawkk and Venenu there more than anything. Sure, Sanctified Field goes down from Cyno, but it's not all the way inside of the Phoenix. It's kind of sitting like right around the edge of it. Dharmic Pillars goes up by Hawkk. Venenu with Dueling Dragons pushes Cyno back into the Dharmic Pillar because Cyno had just walked out. He gets pushed right back into it, and then Cyno has to take too many ticks of damage from there. Has to walk away. Gamma Ray Burst from BennyQ. Not quite enough damage to finish that kill. Cyno just barely able to live. Probably thanks to the fact that he did have a Magi's at that point. That might be his only saving grace, is those few prots that you get from Magi's, keeping him alive there. But once Sanctified Field goes down, Nacho Gang don't have that pushback any further, and then obviously Panitom getting soloed in jungle doesn't feel great. The fortunate part for Nacho Gang is that DuoQ is unwilling to fully commit to a Fire Giant, but now is the best opportunity for DuoQ to fight with their birds coming back up.
Well, this is one that I'm excited to see. Fire Giant dropping low. DuoQ get it away. It's enhanced. On top of that, and Sam is going to be a clean pickup. Snoopy's already low, but it does not matter. Pegon gets to the back. They might lose one,
Oh,
but they're
Twig,
picking
no.
up so many
Run,
after
B, run.
DuoQ just putting in the work when it matters. Late game team fight 3 for 1, and they're back in the driver's seat.
It really is just mid-game wait for 30 minutes. It's happened 3 games in a row now. Fortunate for Nacho Gang, Panitom's able to take 1 Phoenix, but now he's got to get away. Beads, or not, sorry, not even a Beads. The Magi's pulled away there by BennyQ. Panitom does have ult, does have Beads, doesn't have Blink. I don't think BennyQ's going to be able to fully catch up to him, especially being on Suku. Panitom's just so fast, but with 20-some-odd seconds to still continue their push, DuoQ should be able to get something off of this. Tier 2 tower in mid would be great. If Snoopy were up, they could probably go for a full tower wipe, but because Snoopy goes down, and that's the most important part for Nacho Gang, is that they did get Snoopy, WorstTurttle, able to get up to the cloud, but because Snoopy's down, DuoQ really don't have good tower push.
Yeah, not much they were able to do there. Unfortunately for WorstTurttle, it was the best of bad situations. Still died. So a minute without, and then respawns come through for Nacho Gang. Maybe slow some things down. Damage is still going to be there. Maybe not tower damage, god damage. But an enhanced Fire Giant makes quick work of a tier 2 in mid. Snoopy's going to respawn and run down towards him. So 4v5 for another 35. J-Mac, my mind is on Panitom right now. My eyes are on Panitom.
Camera's on him too.
Captain of the team. Could make a huge difference here. Used his blink to kill off mid Phoenix earlier. Doesn't have that closed gap, getting zoned out right now. Sanctified Fields dropped there. Looking for the knock-up through the wall, and they're unable to find it. Pegon gets taken down relatively low. DuoQ knocking on the door. Sam goes in, not able to get the pull, and instead Twig is the one who falls a minute in the penalty box. And the mid Phoenix will go down, so that's bird for bird. More kills coming up. DuoQ 34.5 in. WorstTurttle chasing him down. Goes for the Jingu Bang, and the Bluestone's gonna do enough to kill off Snoopy. Now Chase still going for the Wukong. Then left to the sharks in the water. What can Hawkk do for Peel? The knockup gonna bully the Ganesha a little bit. A good pull from the Atlas ensures that it will just be the support here. Still a 3-man swing after losing the Phoenix. DuoQ. They fight back, and then they get fought back against. 14-14, 35 in. And JMac looking at the builds. Gold leads getting pretty much to the point where it doesn't matter. At this point, it's just an item. Between supports.
They're going for the end. 2
left to defend. Pegon and BennyQ. Sanctified Fields dropped on the Titan. Nacho Gang walking into the Titan room and looking for a win. Pegon tries to fight back, but cannot do much. No, 2
Benny?
are gone, and Benny is going big here. BennyQ does enough to defend a triple kill for the solo laner. Keeps him alive.
And this is why you don't fight Atlas in a small corridor, especially one that has built all damage. BennyQ sold his only defense item for a Staff of Mirrodin at the end of the game, since full HP, and shows just how much damage that Atlas is capable of when you all stand in a tiny little circle around the Titan. And now DuoQ able to defend, probably a kill on a CaptainTwig. BennyQ is slamming at this point. 7 in a row for him. That could just be the end of the game. Pegon's the only one down. It's 19 seconds for the next person to come up.
DuoQ. They're walking down. And JMac, they're starting to walk towards the Titan room. Gotta wonder how they're feeling right now. They don't have to worry about respawn. Sam is up. Panitom here. WorstTurttle now in, but they've got the damage, and it seems to be enough. What a play from the team.
So, if I've learned anything watching now 3 games of mid laners play, it's that they do not care about the first 30 minutes of the game. It does not matter how good you do against them. They are just going to wait to the end and teamfight diff you when the 35 minutes comes up. It is unbelievable what the mid laners were capable of in the first set, and now what they've done here in set number 2, game 1. Highlight play of the game, though, has to go to BennyQ on the base defense.
Sure.
Pegon's able to put in good work on the Ravana. That wasn't all BennyQ, but Pegon's able to pull enough resources away to allow BennyQ to go for a play like that. Drops Gamma Ray Burst in the middle of all 4, slowly builds up that Prot Shred, gets all of those different item procs, Ethereal Staff, Soul Reaver, Staff of Mirrodin kicks in, and once all those passives start meshing together, all of a sudden, you make for a whole lot of damage on Atlas. And it's one of the things I said at the top of the set is, Atlas is one of the few Guardians in the game where you don't need to build any damage. He's going to do a lot. When you build damage, he's going to do an astronomical amount.
Fitting, right, given everything, the motif. At least BennyQ rocking that skin there. Looks fantastic. Man, I'm going to live in that defense for, well, give or take another 5 minutes, and then we'll recap it. So I guess I get to, for 8 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. That's all that's going to be running through my mind. There's essentially 30 minutes of gameplay that I'm going to just forget in favor of that one. Great defense from Pegon and BennyQ to hold on there. And, you know, we didn't get to see too much. I think Hawkk on support looked pretty solid. Snoopy, Vin played their roles well, but when you get a highlight like that, usually pretty hard to beat. So, right now, it's DuoQ up 1-0. We'll find out, can Nacho Gang tie this, push us to 3? Will the mid laners come out on top in the first 2 matchups? We'll find all that out right after this.
Stay on leash and was 10 to me. That's why tonight I'm on the weed, not the Hennessy. Lying, but I tell you how it really be. Dropping game, I can sprinkle for infinity. I'm the player of the year if I do say. Cause I treat a Saturday like a Tuesday. Came through with the sauce for the soul food. Eat good, smoke great, that's a whole move. Whole time, half time for the smoke break. In the mission, from the mission for the long cake. Laced up, rope chain, got my tongue tied. Top down, out, let them sun dry. I'm that and I said it before I had proof. Can't believe it till they see it, that's a sad truth. Hey, I be out of town all the time, out of blood rush. You be out of line, out of bounds, out of comeback. I be out of town all the time, what it does that. You be telling lies in your rhymes, where your funds at. Mailbox money in my real name. 30 years old and they still lame. Tryna kick it in the H like a field goal. Touchdown with finesse, that's a heel toe. Look, what you thought? Think better. Sundress, no drawers, got the seat wetter. Got my suede jumpsuit for the wind chill. Hot girl, but she blowing like a windmill. Truly, I ain't got a flex for the routine. Too clean with a plate full of poutine. Worrying about me can't help you. Way better when it's heard and it's felt too. Get my weed from the west, gold from the south. Show them how to make them triple O's from the couch. Counting on luck ain't a life plan. I'ma have the last laugh for a lifespan. Hey, I be out of town all the time, out of blood rush. You be out of line, out of bounds, out of comeback. I be out of town all the time, what it does that. You be telling lies in your rhymes, where your funds at.
You ready? I'm pulling up now. Girl, get suited up. I'ma take you out, we can ride around, just the two of us. You my twin flame, ain't no doubt about it, we be two in love. From me your club, I ain't pulling out, I'ma shoot it up. Cause you the one, shawty, you the one. Yeah, you the one that's working for it. You the one that curved them for me. You the one that's searching for me. You the one that's hurting for me. You the one that deserve it from me. You the one that's perfect for me. Yeah, she a little freak. Yeah, she only do it for me. Yeah, yeah. What you don't know, girl, you know that I'm willing to teach. Yeah, yeah. Reaching your peak. Yeah, you know I'm the one with that reach. You know that. Yeah, loving your body. Yeah, loving your body.
Baby,
yeah,
let's
yeah.
get suited up. Got you some money, got you marine. She giving me streams, I dive in the stream. With a king, then you riding with me. Two-door coupe, red guts for the seats. Move like a sleaze man, racking up peas. She on a wine and dining ting. She want pristine jewel diamond ring. I'm on a big man flex, no arm out. Hermes bracelet, bringing the charms out. She got a fresh blowout with the part out. This type shit make you eat your heart out. So eat it up. After this bill, I'ma beat it up. You was suited up, now you suited down. When that ass move around, yeah, it's heating up. My twin flame. I can't picture you with nobody else. That slim frame. Girl, you my Savannah, yeah, I'll be a King James. Let's get it. And you been down so long, we gon' buy nicknames. So get suited up like we courtside at the Knicks game.
Yeah, you the one that's working for it. You the one that curved them for me. You the one that's searching for me. You the one that's hurting for me. You the one that deserve it from me. You the one that's perfect for me. Yeah, she a little freak. Yeah, she only do it for me. Yeah, yeah. What you don't know, girl, you know that I'm willing to teach. Yeah, yeah. Reaching your peak. Yeah, you know I'm the one with that reach. You know that. Yeah, loving your body. Yeah, loving your body. Yeah, yeah. Loving your body. Yeah, yeah. You know you got it. Yeah, yeah. Getting excited, feeling erotic. She a little thotty for me. She only do it for me. Told her this ain't for free. Look what you did to the sheets. She said I'm going too deep. Girl, I'ma put you to sleep, make you addicted. Me, know I'm a king when I'm in the east. Made you my queen, I'm playing for keeps. Ay, we used to f in the G, that's when the was cheap. And took you to Telly's, eating at delis. We used to ride out the Philly. I'ma take you out, we could ride around, just the two of us. You my twin flame, ain't no doubt about it. We be two in love. From me your club, I ain't pulling out, I'ma shoot it up. Cause you the one, shawty, you the one.
Well, it is a 1-0 lead now for mid lane, which technically means, J-Mac, that mid is up 3-0 so far today. And, of course, if you want to represent maybe your favorite mid laners across the league, or if you're like you and your friends just want to look like one of the teams this weekend, well, I've got great news for you. You can go over to shop.highresstudios.com/SPL or shop.smiteproleague.com, pick up some jerseys. If you want to replicate any of these teams, let's say you want to look like DuoQ, then you know you're going to be picking up Gladiators, you're going to be picking up Warriors, Hounds, Ravens jerseys to try and replicate some of the energy that they're bringing. If you want to represent whether it's your favorite mid laners, maybe you're rooting for the junglers right now, in which case, well, you're on thin ice, but we have to figure out where you're going to go. Of course, you can support them, or if you just want to support your favorite team, especially as we're starting to gear up, right? Roll starts this week, next week off. Then I believe we're starting to talk about tournaments in the near future going into Phase 2. We're going to be talking about kickoff, then we're going to be talking about the actual phase going into the end of the year. All of a sudden, we're going to be at Worlds before you know it. So get your jerseys sooner rather than later and root for your favorite team while you can and while we're on that path towards Worlds. But for now, J-Mac, we're on the path towards best role in Smite to be Roll Stars.
Yeah.
And that is, of course, what these two are battling for. One up for the mid laners. I'm still thinking about that defense, if I'm honest with you. There was some other stuff that happened in that game, but the defense, I feel like, was what solidified it. Just well played between Pegon and BennyQ.
There's a whole lot of Nacho Gang W-keying the beginning of this game. It was Panitom going to duo lane, Panitom going to solo lane, Panitom running all over this map and really getting that control with the help of his frontliners. But once we started kind of getting to the late game, once the players started getting their items online, once we started seeing the group up from DuoQ, that's when the team fights really started to really ring true and really kind of exploit the weaknesses of Nacho Gang's draft. We talked about during the picks and bans how this felt like a much more pick-oriented style of draft, and it was. When you have Sobek or Sobek, I guess, and or Sun Wukong plus Awilix, that is, I'm going to blink, I'm going to hit one of my multiple knock-up abilities, and we are going to either pull their beads or pull them back and get a kill. If those beads are up, okay, we got beads. We can come back and do this either once my blink is up or the next time that one of my 2 cooldowns are there. The problem that we get to is once you start getting to the sieging aspect, Nacho Gang doesn't really have a whole lot for their sieges. They get thrown at a sanctified field, and that's going to clear DuoQ away from the area. You're not going to want to fight inside of that. But then you run into a problem like this, when you're 4-stack grouped up inside of Gamma Ray, who's a, by the way, full damage Atlas for BennyQ by this point. Again, he sold his only defense for more damage, and he gets a multi-procs during that fight. You have Ethereal Staff hit. You have your Soul Reaver hit during that. Your Obsidian Shard likely kicks in with that ultimate popping and giving you even more pen and power at that point. And then your Staff of Mirrodin kicks in on top of all of that. That is a recipe for disaster for the 4 members of Nacho Gang who dared step in to the DuoQ's Q brother corridor.
Yeah, that's just something that you don't want to mess with. And maybe in the future they'll think twice before trying to go in. They'll eye who the 2 that are alive are before stepping into the Titan. It's not often that you get a defense like that, especially, I mean, 2 Phoenixes down. You were already struggling a little bit in the game prior to that, like you said, W-Key being held by Nacho Gang. And now they're down 1 game for the junglers. We'll find out how they retaliate. They're going to be 2nd pick this time for Nacho Gang. So DuoQ, 1st overall. And friendly reminder, the 10 gods we just saw, not allowed this time around. So you won't get to see any of the Atlas plays again. You won't see the Ravana. You won't see the Huang. And then you won't see, on top of that, J-Mac, whatever 6 get banned. And they're starting with the Scotty one more time.
You told me I don't get to watch BennyQ's Atlas again?
Not today.
Oh. Well, what about tomorrow? I mean, if he makes it tomorrow, do I get to see it then?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean,
okay,
like,
well,
if he wants to.
Look,
I can't guarantee this. I can't promise you.
Right.
Because I'm not BennyQ. But if he wins this set and you walk down that hall and say, hey, tomorrow play Atlas again, he'll probably do it.
Look, now I'm not trying to show any bias, but I kind of want to see the BennyQ Atlas again. So maybe I'm hoping for a DuoQ win so we could see it again, especially with how spicy it was in game number 1, the damage output he had. But as we at least do go through the ban phase, again, it's actually the exact same 6 bans that we saw from game number 1, just now repeated. That's the one benefit of the sealed draft is whatever you banned in game 1, you can still ban in game number 2, or you can play it in game number 2. But we're just going to say the same 6 gods, at least not available for play. So we're going to set to see 10 more unique god picks here from DuoQ and Nacho Gang. Boy, DuoQ in that first pick, they've got a lot of power. Just between having BennyQ and Pegon on the team, you already hold a lot of draft power. And then, oh, by the way, you throw Cyno in the mix, who was also one of the wildest drafters whenever it came to his time in the jungle. It is almost impossible to immediately determine what a pick is going to. With a Freya, makes it usually a little bit easier, but as of recent, we've been seeing Freya go into the jungle. We've seen Freya go to the duo lane. I would not be surprised if we potentially could see Freya go towards mid. Oh, also, by the way, Genetics played it in support during the Divisional Stars. I don't know why this god has as much flexibility as she does, but she has seen, I think, 4 different roles over the last 2 competitive years. Not saying that the support is a legitimate role she will go into, but the fact that we have seen it more than once is absolute insanity, and the performance that she has in her actual primary roles, whether that be the duo lane or, I guess, now the jungle from what we've seen the couple games there, has shown that this is still a god and a force to be reckoned with and really fits the ideology of DuoQ, which is we're going to wait for 30 minutes, then we're going to win the game.
Yeah, it's going to make things a lot easier if you're waiting that late. I do want to ask you, especially while they're locking in there too here for Nacho Gang, because the way it's set up, it's only gods that get locked in. But in the future, we have a lot of gods in the game. It would get real long. I don't know if it would work for a best of 5. That's where it gets a little more awkward. I guess that's 100 gods if you included bans.
Yeah, you would get
if you ban it once, it's just gone for the set. Yeah, you would get 2 god 100 at a full best of 5.
That would be so cool to watch.
But admittedly, for the graphic, that would be a nightmare.
Oh no, that would be an absolute nightmare to watch.
At that point, it'd be easier to show who's left.
Yeah, instead of unavailable, it's available gods to play, and you just see the remaining almost at
just
that point.
Thoughts for the future, right?
And it's crazy to think that
we could double dip.
And it's wild to think that we go to a best of 5, and let's say we have to have 20 unique gods every time. There's still like another 30 that you can still pick from almost.
Yeah.
There's like 28 more gods that you can still pick beyond there. And that's
you still, we could play. You could play all 5, and then still play another game with a full band, like all unique. I mean, look, I'm gonna tell you, by that 6th game, it's not gonna be great comps.
All right, so what we do now is once we hit god number 140, we do a competitive best of 7, and if it hits game 7, we'll have seen every single god played in a single competitive set.
There you go.
We've secured it. We've locked it down.
Yeah, they've nailed it. I never have to keep track of a single god list of who's been played and who's not been played ever again.
Actually, we've now given a good idea for maybe a community tournament to do something like this. If you want to do a sealed draft community tournament, that would be sick to watch.
That actually
because then you could just see this happen all the time and not just at Roll Stars.
Well, now though, Nacho Gang, lock in Fafnir, Izanami, keeping things fresh over there. Terra, Cernunnos, locked in alongside the Freya. So you had mentioned, man, it feels so weird to be talking about this. Mentioned flexibility from Freya. I personally still really like her over in the I'm going to just sit around and do nothing for 30 minutes role, which would be carry.
Duo, yeah.
So Kern, does he feel good enough mid that that's a balance that you could see happening?
Kern is one of those weird hunters where he doesn't really fit as an ability hunter, but he has good ability damage between Horn Charge, Bramble Blast. You do decent damage. Your different stance changes from your first ability can really help augment your auto attacks however you see fit. And we have seen him competitively in mid before. I believe players like Dardes and Big Man Ting, some of those kinds of minds come immediately to the forefront of people who would play him there. I wouldn't put it against if Snoopy has probably done it at some point as well. So he has that flexibility to mid where it would be okay to see it run there. I think the one that immediately came to my mind, and I should have thought that this could be a potential because we have seen it competitively from the player himself. This very well could be Terra for BennyQ. Now, it didn't do very good in mid when he played it at SPL last year for the Valkyries.
Yeah.
But this is solo lane Terra, if that's the case, assuming he's also going back to the solo. And back in the day, solo Terra was actually really good. That was, however, whenever Soul Reaver was also really good and you just blink ult the entire enemy team and you get an insane amount of damage procs there. Not saying that she is a great damage-dealing god as much anymore, but if you're building her solo, you're still going to be building,
you've got
imaginably a good amount of defense. So you're still going to have that same level of utility. In fact, you might even have more because you can probably build a little bit more flexibly, have some extra cooldown in there. I'm going to say, for the sake of my sanity, that this is probably just going to be a Terra support, and I'm way over-analyzing and thinking it. But at the same time... Oh, wait, no. I see this Anubis. No. If this Anubis gets locked in, that's BennyQ's.
Yep.
100%.
And look, bringing back the classic winner dogs
That's
mentality.
the winner dog. that was their thing to do. Game 2, we're up a game. I'm going to slam Anubis.
And I guess we get the answer to the true question. So bans, before we get too far, is the Najop,
both
Daji,
signature picks.
Kali, and then the Bakasura, which was answered now. Bastet and Thor locked in for Nacho Gang. Anubis and Susano. I was going to make a cat and dog joke, but now I'm really interested because you not only mentioned signature picks, presumably Susano for Pegon going into the jungle. But Bastet, Thor, 2 picks that have been very dominant. Both we've seen in solo lane, though Thor has done it more often, more consistently. Bastet, though, if I'm remembering correctly, that was where Nika got his pentakill, was on Bastet solo. Yep. And so, technically, precedence for that, but probably erring towards the Thor. And so, man, J-Mac, I don't even know where to start here. What god is calling to you right now?
Probably Poseidon right now.
Poseidon?
I think that's
he's definitely
maybe the
weirdest
outlier.
One.
But I think it's going to CaptainTwig. And the reason why is he's had a competitive history on this god, whether in the jungle or in mid. Now, I had to go and check myself because I'm like, okay, how many times has he actually played Poseidon? How well has he done? It's actually a pretty good stat line for him. 25 games that CaptainTwig has played him, over a 75% win rate on the god, so
really
he's actually done a whole lot of winning on this kind of pick. And it's honestly the best one that fits for him in mid lane when you look at the rest of this.
That's got to be more unfortunate that if he's got like those stats, and yet my reaction is, oh no, when I hear that combo, that means that it was just one really important game that goes
one
wrong.
Kraken miss. You never remember the good Krakens. It's always the bad ones. And that's, I can't say that's true of every god, because we always remember the good Thor dunks. We remember like the really good like jungle moments when the mid laner comes up really big. But for some reason, Poseidon's that god where when you think you're like, okay, how good are your Krakens? Were you one of the good Kraken users, or were you one of the ones who was like missing a whole lot of them? I think CaptainTwig had a couple unfortunate ones during some very crucial points, which is why that kind of pain moment comes to us when we think of like World's Time is what kind of when it goes.
But this
isn't not World's Time. This is Roll Stars at this point. So I have a little bit more faith in this Poseidon.
You know what? I'll give him faith. Do faith, right? Where it is. Because right now their back's against the wall. You don't go to the Poseidon if you don't think you can get something done here. Izanami as well should give a lot of pressure. Some auto attackers. I mean, you got a lot of heavy-handed auto attackers. Fafnir gets locked in. But it is a weird one, I think, to lock in early on, is the Fafnir. Just knowing, I guess maybe what we're going to expect from Sam. Single target CC. You've got Whirlpool. I mean, you technically got some other CCs like stuns from Thor. But is there enough outside of just support that Fafnir still feels good going into all of Duo Q?
And Fafnir just feels good in general for objective burn between Poseidon and Izanami. You're good around objectives. Team fights maybe where a little bit more of the question comes in.
Well, you know what? It's going to take a little while to get to the team fights, but we can only do that by getting through the early game, jumping into game 2 of Duo Q and Nacho Gang. Duo Q is up 1-0. Of course, you'll be sticking with me, J-Mac, and Doug as we go through this game. And J-Mac, I've got 2 to 3 things to say. First off, last time it was 51-49.
It's very close.
So it was very close. Now a little more skewed, 58-42 in favor of Duo Q. But one, you had mentioned late game team fight and potential like that for Nacho Gang, which bad news is that we've seen 3 mid lane games where they're going to drag it out to 35 and then just beat you. And then the other side is just a fun fact for you, which is that Nacho Gang is named after Panitom's dog.
That is a very fun fact.
Yeah. Like, I felt happier knowing that, so I figured you would too.
That does make me feel good. Knowing about the pets of the Pro League, the SMITE Pet League, if you will, that's probably the most important facts that we can learn of anything else.
Okay. Now, hear me out.
I'm
Live
listening.
spitballing. Puppy Bowl style Worlds event.
You sold
and
me.
it is the SMITE Pets League.
You didn't need to go any further than Puppy Bowl. That's all
I don't know
needed to
how
hear.
you win. I don't know what
he
the win
stole
condition
it.
is, but it's something. And you
Wow.
steal green. Doesn't steal purple.
I thought he stole both. That would have been wild.
But hey, good on Hawkk to be that aggressive. And to kind of trust this, allows Snoopy to hit too early. And get an early start for the duo Q duo lane.
It's still taking me a while to get used to seeing Anubis walking around while channeling Plague of Locusts. For nearly, what, 10 years of my time playing Smite, I've only ever seen the Doge standing still. Whenever he casts that, it's still taking a moment for me to fixate myself on remembering, oh yeah, he can now move during that ability. But outside of that, I mean, with a pick like Anubis versus Bastet, the lane-to-lane is going to go a little bit more towards Anubis early, but the poke is going to be a little bit better for WorstTurttle. Walk up, immediately hit him with a little bit of a lash with the cat scratch there, and you'll be just fine. Jump away if you need to, but BennyQ is also really good at burning beads immediately because he has 2 really high damaging abilities. Oh, that doesn't include his ultimate just yet. Once you start getting to level 5, if beads are down for WorstTurttle and he has already expended jump, he's dead. He is dead. As long as that ultimate is available for BennyQ and level 5 is hit without beads, WorstTurttle should die in the solo lane. The problem then arises that BennyQ is an Anubis, and he's very immobile, and even with having a whole wave of minions, he still is just a mage at this point in the game. I think the biggest fall-off, at least for me on Nacho Gang, is going to be this Bastet. You want to get her active early. She has a lot of great base damage, has a lot of great scaling in her kit. The biggest problem with Bastet is her ultimate. It's long range, it's single target, you can grab somebody, displace them, but it's a much longer cooldown than some of the other assassin abilities in the game that do similar, if not better, than what Bastet can do. You go up in the sky as Thor dunk, slam down, cooldown's back up 90 seconds, you're good to go. Trying to do something like that with Bastet, you're sitting at 100 plus seconds that you're waiting to pull somebody the next time. And obviously, if you have things like cooldown reduction, that will reduce it. But this is the point of the game where WorstTurttle is the strongest.
Well, beads used early by Benny. Great wall from Panitom on the Thor. And unfortunately for the Anubis, there's just no getting away from that one. First blood over to Nacho Gang. A little bit of pressure on the right-hand side of the map. And that does bring me to what I wanted to ask, J-Mac, which is, do you think, you know, depending on how the lane is going, if there's more ganks from Panitom like we just saw, and especially if they lose, do you think there's going to be any, like, brotherly arguments between the two, which is to say they're going to say some real mean things to each other, but then like 3 days be okay again?
I think they're just going to have their little scuffle and then move on from it. It's just how it is sometimes whenever it comes down to the brothers, especially in a matchup like this one. I think they'll probably never let the other one live a mistake down like this. Pegon's probably sitting there going, Benny, bro, what's happening? Like, what's going on? You were winning that lane, and now you're just losing. And BennyQ's probably sitting there going, why aren't you in my lane? Where's my gank? You haven't showed up to help me out just yet.
And then Pegon goes, you've been dead the whole time. What am I supposed to? And then it devolves. See, that's what I'm saying. Look, sometimes, like, you love your siblings a lot. Sometimes you start to butt heads. You know stuff about each other, too. You can dig deep with insults. I speak from experience. I'm the third, so it does, the third kid. Up in the air, Panitom comes dunking down. Good wall, forces Valkyrie's discretion. Shots are decent there from Venenu. Turns it around, one more auto, the Pulse finds it now. What could Pegon do? Goes for the old double knockup. Kraken's not going to connect here. And now Vin's walking back in. You need some autos. You need your cooldowns. You need your mana to work for you. They've got their eyes set. It's CaptainTwig and a kill for Pegon. Now Pulse is back, and the damage is there. Leap over the wall from Sam, but no mana. And a collapse in. Keep your eyes on Snoopy. Low health, low mana as well. Not much he can do to work with. And so it's about protecting your carry, potentially getting a kill. Sam.
Oh, Sam, you're walking back.
He's walking right back into him. And while they don't have a lot of mana to work with, surely someone's going to get a kill here. Pegon picks up Cyno. Sam might just get to walk away because of that stun. But a great set of plays from Duo Q result in a great set of kills across the board.
I don't know if I'd lazy back there, but you know what? Panitom's already used his ability, so should be fine. By the way, again, Panitom died at the beginning of that entire fight, and it went on for so long. He respawned and walked all the way back to the left side of the map to try and keep the fight going back up again. Good save. to make sure that Sam Forsaka was able to walk out. I thought that Sam was dead to rights there because he walked into 4 people, but only one of them actually did any real damage to him. Pegon instead decided to mechanics diff the entire map on the Susano. Not only was able to juke out the Kraken that was thrown out by CaptainTwig, also hits him with the Typhoon as he's walking away from Kraken. He ends up backstepping away from the hammer, or actually he ends up throwing out Jetstream. Hammer goes through, and then he waits out the hammer before teleporting back in. And now he's able to get out again.
Keeps him safe and alive this time around. Snoopy might not have the same to be said. Double tap's good. The Whirlpool, even stronger. So clean couple of kills for Nacho Gang. Forcing Pegon to fall back as well. Has to play carefully. Benny, poor Benny. Just getting bullied by WorstTurttle, and there's the damage. The tower, not enough to turn it around. WorstTurttle gets away with murder in the short lane.
Venenu nearly gets a kill on CaptainTwig. The Whirlpool, the knockback is there. Beads from CaptainTwig to cleanse the slow. Pegon is still here, and he's still alive. He turns around the kill, takes down Panitom, and now it's Sam once again in the middle of 3. Pegon healthy enough to keep fighting. He's got backup from Snoopy this time, and Sam's going to go down after all this fighting. Pegon hasn't even had a chance to really go back to base yet.
I'm going to say it. Pegon should have died there.
Yes.
At least 3 times, it feels like. But J-Mac, I also have to say this. They're not leaving us wanting for action. All across the board, 10 kills, 7 minutes. Just shy of 2,000 gold in favor of Nacho Gang right now. Most of that feels like it's in solo, though, right? 2 levels. And when you look at the net worth, 4,900.
Yeah, about 800.
Yeah, so that's a decent chunk of gold that WorstTurttle has in their lead. And makes up a pretty big total of it. But I feel like we've seen this in the past, and maybe you can correct me where I'm wrong, but it feels like BennyQ is a late-game player on Anubis. And I think that might just be true of most Anubises, because I feel like he's just not the kind of god who's going to, in a at least competitive setting, have a really good early game.
Anubis is really good at level 5 on highly immobile targets, and if they have their beads down and no other way of immunity, so if they don't go in Aegis, for example. BennyQ is really good, or specifically I should say Anubis is really good at those points. Now that he can move in his 1 and make it to where he can kind of chase out kills a little bit easier. But once you start getting even a little bit of anti-heal online, Anubis starts to lose some of his survivability value. You still get the pen treatment more than anything, so Anubis will get better as the game goes on just by nature of being a mage and being able to damage. But everybody else is equally doing a whole lot of damage and can easily return that back on a target that is moving either nowhere or at a snail's pace.
All right, now pressure on Vin. He's going to run the opposite direction. Good jukes from him, but a chase down from Panitom. Knock up coming through. Damage is there up into the sky. And you have to imagine a dunk down double kill from Twig. Well played by them. And of course, the leap forward on to Snoopy. Hawkk going to join him in the tier 1 under mid, but it is not safe. Sam leads the fray. Is going to pay for his insolence. You need a little more damage. Kill off Snoopy. Hawkk, no mana. J-Mac, they're going to end it 3-4-2. Back and forth between them. 8-7 now in favor of Nacho Gang. And these teams are just out for blood. I mean, the W key, might as well just tape it down.
Yeah, one of the only gods in the game that you can't utilize a Bastion for safety against is this Izanami. Cyno's able to line himself up, says, okay, you stand behind a Bastion, I can not only kill you, but I can also just take the Bastion at that same time. So not as much safety for Snoopy as he would hope. Pegon, he's just got to be able to find Cyno. He's waiting to see where he pops out of. The invisibility wears off. Pegon can just go right back in, finds the pull, but stun from Sam. That might be enough. Pegon doesn't have ultimate yet. He's waiting for Typhoon, or maybe just for Snoopy to show up and find the clothesline kill. Unfortunately, on the other side of the map, well, BennyQ getting a little bit of the treatment, and that's now his 4th death on the solo lane.
Well, this has been, again, just absolutely back and forth. Now with Panitom deep in the jungle. Looks like speed buff is going to be secured. Kind of curious right now where the mid laner's brains are at, so we're going to go ahead, jump in, and do a quick listen-in with Duo Q.
They're on reds. Thor's right here on corner.
Was that Izabis there or no?
No.
Okay.
Pretty sure Izabis are still down from the fight in mid.
You want to go on this toss?
Yeah,
Fafnir's left. Fafnir's left. Bastet can rotate there from here. I may just beats here. Pulling.
Yeah, just be really careful, boys.
I'm backing up, backing up, backing up. That's
Wait,
all.
I can come to this. I can
That's
come to
beats,
this.
that's beats.
I've gone to 5, please.
He's here.
Kind of playing it slow. Thor
Doors
behind us.
behind you.
It's a shard. I've gone 3.
I'm here.
That's his 3.
I'm
That's
just
wall.
worried about
Can we just go Bastet? Just go Bastet.
Yeah,
Pass
yeah.
that jump soon.
trying to get to you guys.
I can maybe pull.
Thor ulting from blue. Thor ulting from blue.
Nice. I have no clones at all.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I
Can
can
kill
kill.
Thor.
He has one hammer still.
We're okay, we're okay.
I have slow.
I can dive.
That's
Fan-
beats.
Fan is coming, Fan is coming.
Yeah, I have beats still too.
Nice.
I think we're okay.
I'm just gonna try to farm.
I have
come back.
cooldowns in 8. We can turn if they commit.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have a rep? Do you have a rep for this guy?
No, no. He's not in range.
Fafnir's are here. Fafnir's over
Hang
here.
on, I
So.
think you do
I'm backing.
I'll stay over
Yeah,
here.
okay. Close to 12 and I'm backing.
You want to clear this with me?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is here.
I'm looking for.
I'm
I'm
coming to
hiding
this.
there.
I'm gonna be honest. There was a lot more like actual calming. I was expecting some complaining, maybe from BennyQ about like the way the lane's been going. And he's 0-4, but not a peep about that, J-Mac. Nothing but focus and pure determination. And you're seeing it even more here. Snoopy has a little bit of help towards the very end, but you see that one. All grit, holds on to his life. Between him, Pegon, you have to imagine they're trying to go for the disengage. I admire Sam's tenacity, though. But they're just focused. They want to win, and you can hear the comms clean, I think, illustrating what the team is about.
Panitom for the wraparound. If he's got wall and hammer, that could be a kill. He had them both, but he whiffed them both. And now it might just be a turn back around the stun from the wall.
Pegon's just built different.
Pegon, honestly, I'm going to throw some shouts to Hawkk, too. He's been playing really well on the Terra. The wall stuns have been on point. That one to stop the spin immediately after and just lock Panitom down. Didn't have beads from the previous fight. And the communication between the mid laners has just been strong. BennyQ calling out cooldowns from WorstTurttle. You can even hear in there that Pegon's also calling out any kind of cooldowns from Panitom on that right side. So just saying, hey, I've got this coming up. I'm going to go for the slow. Even if they have a relic, I'm going to go for this ability. And then calling out the relic after. They're very dialed in on what they want to say. And unfortunately for Sam, he jumps in, misses the disarm, but does still get the beads from Venenu.
Well, and honestly, with the amount of shots that Ven just missed, might as well have hit the disarm. A lot of control, though. Still going their way when it comes down to Beacon. Order's going to pick that up. BennyQ with the ultimate. They've got one kill onto Sam. Pressure's there. Double tap great from Panitom. Just not enough damage to get the job done. Now Pegon going to do Pegon things. Get low. And the ult just off the mark. A wide circle. Doesn't connect. They're still going to find a second kill here. Locking down Panitom. Twig is low. Luckily, WorstTurtle's rotated in. At least pulled one back for the Nacho Gang.
I am so confused what BennyQ's priority is for his build. He went Bancross Talons first. He gets a little bit lower. He's going to be dealing more damage, get a little bit more lifesteal that comes along with that. Then he goes for tier 1 into another lifesteal, presumably going for something like a Typhon's Fang, which is the usual go-to. I mean, after you get the 2, you get a lot of lifesteal, a lot of power. He then skips going for tier 2 to instead get defense, tier 2 in the breastplate. And has now skipped finishing breastplate to go back to Typhons. I have no idea what is going on in BennyQ's mind right now. And I'm not going to pretend I even want to understand what goes through his brain sometimes, because this man also is just built diff. But Pegon and Hawkk, for me, have kind of been the shining stars for this team so far, at least in this game. Overall, of course, the set, the entirety of Duo Q has been able to hold their end. Now BennyQ just kind of get bullied under his own tower. He can't even get a blue. He can't get a tower. He's not safe anywhere. WorstTurttle is the one person who is just outright winning everywhere. And he's just sitting here shaking his head going, guys, what's happening across the rest of the map?
Well, Twig right now leading the way around Hawkk, surrounded by 4. So that's a pretty easy pickup for Nacho Gang. Gold Fury started up. No response from Duo Q, so a very quick and easy Fury for the junglers. And J-Mac, a lot of it across the board looks even, right? 13 to 13, 5 towers to 5. Of course, 3 Phoenixes then to 3. Gold lead, though, about 4K, a little shy of it, a little over it, actually, in favor of Nacho Gang after that Fury. Snoopy goes for the polymorph and the damage.
No.
Panitom's there, though, and stops him in his tracks. And this is where the Nacho Gang has been finding a lot of their success. Team fight. We've only seen one real team fight. And I have to give that over to Duo Q in terms of success. But we have seen, pick-wise, if you ignore Pegon for a little bit,
That's hard
pick-wise, it's Nacho Gang, and Pegon's on that list as well as he gets another kill over in duo.
Yeah, Pegon said, yeah, your jungler's not here to bail you at this time. Or maybe he is. Never mind. It's just a series of 1v1s. Oh, no, this
poor
is...
BennyQ.
At this point, BennyQ is worth about as much as a minion to WorstTurttle.
Oh my
this
god,
is,
he's 4 levels down.
This is just, we're killing BennyQ because there's nothing else to do. Your tower is down. Every camp in the jungle is down. We can't do a fire giant. So we might as well just kill the only thing that's worth anything on the map at this point, which isn't much, considering BennyQ is 1-6-2. He finished his physical defense. It's great for Benny, but yeah, he's 4 levels down to his lane opponent. The only person that he is ahead of on Nacho Gang is the support.
Right now, WorstTurttle almost gets a great turnaround. Aegis buys a lot of time there, keeps him alive. A great Aegis from Vin as well, but it's not long enough to outlast the dot, and WorstTurtle gets out of there. And the aggression, there's just not enough room for him. I mean, BennyQ's 1-6. What are you going to do to play aggressive? Apparently, it's walk in. Benny tries to spread the damage around, just cannot do anything, but he's got Pegon. And that's what your brother is for. Help pick you up, keep you alive. Unfortunately, it's only lasting so long. Benny has to run away, stunned through the wall. Well aimed, well timed, well shot by Sam. Gets the kill. Now the 1v1 over on left. Panitom's not gonna win this one versus Snoopy. And one more auto keeps things within 2 kills of each other. 16-18 still, with Nacho Gang leading and a tier 2 falling for the Chaos team.
The big differ is getting big diffed right now.
Yeah.
It is not a fun time to be an Anubis solo.
No. Well, okay, hold on. Let's pause. Is it ever a good time or a fun time to be an Anubis solo?
When there's not a Bastet and a Thor on the enemy team, it's a lot better of a time. Unfortunately,
it might not be fun, but it is at least better.
It's better. Also, if you can, get a first blood, that usually helps you out. But, kind of dying 2 or 3 times before you get... Actually, no, I think he was 0-4 before he got his first kill, so... It's been a tough time for BennyQ, to say the least. Sam for soccer, he's also gotten a bit of a rough treatment this set, as he is in a bit of danger. Never mind. He's good.
Yeah, Hawkk gets burned down. Beacon started by Duo Q. Instead, they're going to forfeit it completely. Nacho Gang's going to be more than enough to control that one. A lot of ults used around the Beacon, though. Fury has a little, about a minute, a little under a minute now, actually, before it comes back up. Fire Giant, Pyromancer, 18 minutes in, J-Mac. Which means we're starting to get to the point where the mid laners are going to look for fights and group up as a team, as opposed to what is right now the Pegon show with a side of Snoopy as far as kills go. They're starting up Pyromancer. Sam spots it out, but they should have the burn damage. But can BennyQ escape?
No.
Is the great question. And
no.
Yeah, the answer's no. 4-level difference between solo laners will do that too.
Good news for BennyQ. You got a new power spike. Typhon's Fang online. A little bit of extra power, a little bit of extra lifesteal. The problem is that BennyQ can't stand still against any of these players at this point. The only person that BennyQ might be able to kill, or at least I should say not die from in 4 seconds, is Sam for soccer. Everybody else, if BennyQ goes into ultimate, he will die. He doesn't near CaptainTwig. CaptainTwig pops beads, throws out a Kraken at BennyQ's feet, and BennyQ is dead. This is a tough position for Duo Q to be in with an Anubis who is only level 15 at this point, when everybody else on Nacho Gang, sans the support, is at least level 17. Level 20 now for lane opponent WorstTurttle, as he's approaching kind of that turnaround point potential for a Bastet. I mentioned how early game is really good for, mid game still has a ton of power, late game falls off just a little bit, just because being able to find that one single target with your ultimate at the end of the game usually gets tough when you get towards siege time. But when you have this much of a lead, when you do that much more damage than the enemy team, when they only have one real frontliner who can even deal anything, because if BennyQ gets pulled back, he's dead. Pegon, he might survive. Snoopy, he's got decent tools to survive backup, but all you gotta do if you're WorstTurttle is try and target BennyQ. If you can kill BennyQ and keep him as a non-factor for the remainder of this game, it simplifies Nacho Gang's late game. It simplifies a lot of the weaknesses that the Bastet has of being that single target, which is typically I'm going to go in, I'm going to do all of my damage, I'm going to hope that they're dead, and if not, once I jump back, I can throw ultimate and hope that that lands and kills. Now you can start the fight with that, and if you pull beads, pull Aegis away from them at that point, you can now set up for Panitom, you can set up for CaptainTwig. She essentially becomes almost like a worse form of Hunbats, where Hunbats you jump in and you hit a Fear No Evil and you get 3 or 4 beads, and that sets up the rest of your team to do literally anything. Bastet does that to one person, but if that one person is Anubis who can't do anything, if that one person is a Freya who doesn't have anything, or you just try and go for Pegon in this case, makes it that much easier for your siege.
Yeah, a lot of damage spread everywhere. Good whoop from Vin. Tries to find some return damage.
Panitom.
Has to be careful. Both relics still up for the mid lane. Pegon low. And like you said, Panitom came dunking down. Forced an ult from BennyQ. And to maybe bank on your good news for BennyQ is that once you hit level 20, you're done. And so now 3 levels down from WorstTurttle as the chase continues. Good stun, double tap, not going to connect. Ult from Pegon used onto Twig. He's looking for a kill instead. Team trying to get aggressive with the Kraken. A little too strong. Now you've lost one of your most crucial members for Duo Q. And Venenu forced to Aegis, not able to get out. Cyno dives deep. Cyno gets a lot done. There's low health bars everywhere on the side of Nacho Gang, but they're still getting kills, J-Mac, and that might be all they needed. It's Hawkk versus the world, and the Terra does not have the damage necessary. Gonna try to CC them, but you need to buy. 20 seconds here, gets a kill. The Titan putting in some work. Panitom has to fall back. Fountain keeping him alive, and Hawkk does just enough to turn the Nacho Gang back.
Yeah, the downside of trying to fight Titan nowadays is that thing does cleave damage autos. It's no longer onto a single person, and because Sanford Soccer is so low, he can't tank up the Titan very long. And once he starts tanking up, that Titan swings over to the side and says, hey, now there's a couple other people I can hear all the same time. One good route from Hawkk is really all he needed to slow that down. It's a little overzealous trying to dive in 4 at half or so HP or less in the instance of some of the tanks. At least for Sanford Soccer, he's about a quarter HP going into that Titan Siege, so it didn't have a whole lot of methods to tank that one up. So good on Hawkk for the base defense. Unfortunate for him, though, is that is the worst Phoenix that you want going down, because Fire Giant is going to respawn in just about a minute. And Nacho Gang can easily head on over there, pick that one up for themselves. BennyQ still only level 17. Panitom's hunting for any kill he can find. He spotted Pegon just to the side of the wall, but Pegon also missed everything on landing, and so that'll be an ultimate and a couple cooldowns removed from at least Panitom for the time, but that does open up the beacons, which means we'll have our Titans finally rushing down the lanes.
And it's going to be right lane. They end up going down. I guess I had a pick between right and mid, but mid's just a smidge lower on that tier 2 health bar for the Nacho Gang. So now we're at, not going to call it a standstill, 10,000 gold in favor of Nacho Gang. 6 more kills while it reads 24-18. As we approach the 24-minute mark, they've got all their tier 2s standing for the Chaos side. After knocking down the left side Phoenix for Duo Q, as well as every remaining tower that the mid laners have. Fire Giant's going to be up and ready now, J-Mac. And so it's up to the teams. It's where they get aggressive, and it looks like it might be Panitom who sets up for this one. Goes up into the sky. Looking for a dunk just off the mark. Does not get the double tap as well. Has to teleport out of there. Twig goes for a Kraken. Unable to find a big connection. But it's forcing Duo Q to fall back. Damage is there. Burn from BennyQ. No, it's just too little. Too late. Luckily, the team comes in and helps clean up. Panitom taken off the board first. Sam killed off second. Double for the Freya. And finally, some numbers going in favor of Duo Q.
Watch out for Pegon. He's still got plenty of chase down. Dives in, gets Aegis, and beats away from WorstTurttle. Or just gets Aegis, I should say, for now. But Snoopy coming back big in that fight. Turn to burn. Immediately onto Panitom and to Sanford Soccer. Venenu goes down. CaptainTwig ends up only living through that fight. because he's got alternate timeline, Aegis keeps Snoopy alive. The walls buy a little bit of extra time, but CaptainTwig able to get another kill, turn around back, and a delayed near deicide for Nacho Gang. Pegon, the only one who's able to make it back out, heads back to base to try and help save his Phoenix for what best he can, but man, being able to do everything. I mean, Pegon did exactly what he needed to, get to the back line, kill one of the carries. The biggest problem is that he ran into CaptainTwig, who has alternate timeline. Pop during that fight, brings him from nothing back to 25% health. And not only is CaptainTwig able to live through that fight, but the subsequent fight immediately afterwards, able to not just thrive, but get a couple of kills along there. And it buys time for Nacho Gang. Left side Phoenix is safe for now. Right side Phoenix, it's BennyQ fighting it, and BennyQ can't really tank up the Titan's damage. So wait for it to jump into the Phoenix and clear that one out. But he might just die to WorstTurttle. He does have Aegis. Oh no, he's got backup from Ben. He's good. This should be a kill.
And with the damage
That's
now
revenge.
finally online, that's got to be cathartic at this point. 7-2 for the Bastet, second death of the game. BennyQ 2 and 10. Literally about a third of the kills Nacho Gang has been over there. But J-Mac, it's still Fire Giant for Nacho Gang, which is a pretty big deal. And the team is set up. And so I'm going to ask you about the defense here for DuoQ, especially now that it seems like Benny's actually got some damage online.
You've got decent defense. Anubis, while I guess also kind of a traditional mage, plays a little bit more like an assassin style of mage with how much quick damage he does. Can throw out that third ability, long range, long AoE. Pretty good at clearing out minions in that regard. Snoopy can throw Bramble Blast out, does the same similar method. But more than anything, as far as the immediate dive in by Nacho Gang to be able to defend for DuoQ, Hawkk is great, pop your ultimate. Now everybody's got some extra mitigation, drop down Monolith, you got protections. But if you can kill Hawkk, it makes it that much easier for Nacho Gang to push.
Hawkk stays alive. BennyQ uses ult, and there's the polymorph as well. So as Nacho Gang storms forward, personally, I want to see what their comms are like, what the team is thinking as they try to crack the shell that is the DuoQ base.
That's Raffle.
Yes. Timeline down.
They don't know I'm here. I have a nice
Sunday
fight.
said.
I'm gonna go on.
Can we go in? I have a really nice fight. Can we go in?
I Sunday.
That's all their CC.
Can we go in? I got a big goal here.
Wait, 5 jump.
Bastet
I'm
jump.
at the heal. Have the heal.
I don't buns for 2.
Wait, Thor.
I blink.
I don't have beats here, brother.
Yeah, it might be a good.
Thor on me.
Come Thor.
Okay, if he tries to jump in on you.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Might be
Play for life.
Back it up.
I know
Is this
someone-
1 HP? Is this really low?
Bastet's hunting.
I can maybe get Bastet on the jump back.
Oh, dog kills.
Oh, she has no jump back. No jump back.
That's your Aegis.
Oh my god, she's so fucking fast.
They can't end.
That's pause actives.
Yeah, I mean, we were down 2 birds last game.
Yeah.
No problem. Right where we want to be.
Fuck, why did I press? Oh, if I didn't press like 2.
That's confidence at the end. Yeah, we were down 2 birds last game. They recognize where they're at. More importantly, they recognize that we're getting towards 30 minutes. Recognize they can't end yet if it's Nacho Gang. Good damage between Vin and Snoopy right now. But J-Mac, definitely some issues trying to repel Nacho Gang away from the base. And whether it's team focus or... Man, I'm trying to find a way around it. The 2-11 Anubis, like, it just feels like BennyQ's not able to get a lot out there in comparison to what we saw in the Atlas.
If there's one thing that BennyQ is really good at this stage of the game, Gore, it's burning the resources of everybody else around him.
Good point.
It is being the damage and relic sponge for everyone else. He throws out a wrap and a 3, he's probably going to pull a set of beats from somebody at this point. He gets hit by a Bastet. That means that, oh, hey, the Bastet has used their ultimate against me, so I'm good. Or, hey, there's a Thor dunk that hits me, so everybody else is safe. The biggest problem that DuoQ had in that team fight, which they were able to at least make amends to that towards the very tail end of it by just having a little bit more damage, was that Nacho Gang is a very maneuverable team. They're a team that's very easy to get in and out of a team fight all at the same time. Panitom can go up to the sky, dunk down in. I've stunned a couple of people. Oh, I only hit the Freya with my wall. Freya goes up to the sky. You see Venenu, his response of, okay, wall double tap is probably going to hit. He jumps up in Valkyrie's discretion, and immediately Panitom says, okay, I'm just going to hammer past this Freya. We're not going to deal with it at this point. There's so much in and out potential for Nacho Gang that it makes it difficult to track everybody in a fight like this for DuoQ.
We got to hear DuoQ's defense last time. Nacho Gang stepping into the right. Phoenix. Let's go ahead and jump in and see what the team's thinking. They're falling back right now as they decide between Phoenix and Fire.
Okay.
That's fine.
Susano's
Susano's
a mid.
I thought we...
It's fine.
Yeah,
The Pyro's coming up. I don't really want to get
I'm just a little worried about Susano coming behind us, like getting a free flank.
Flanked
I'm
on
gonna
the
back for
Terra.
another
Oh.
Wolf Century.
If
I'm
I
backing,
see,
I'm backing,
if I
I
see
backed, I backed, I
Susano, I'm
backed.
fighting to the death. I've got alternate timeline though.
I'll run to you if he's there.
Ult is 30, but it's not a big cooldown.
They're walking up left.
I have actives now.
They took green. I'm 150 from 3k pop, but I think we just do go fire anyway. While the Phoenixes are
Should
down.
I pre-ult now, you think?
It's up to you.
I think we have to play patience now. Wait for the waves.
Terra's walking up here. Yeah, yeah. Hammering off though.
Beads on Terra.
ult, I
I'm
guess.
chilling for a bit. I'm chilling for a bit.
Anubis beads, Anubis beads, Anubis beads.
I'm getting Anubis. I'm getting Anubis. I'm out.
He's
Kinda
dead.
use everything.
They're really low. They're really low. Susano's on the flank. by
Susano's
the
on
way.
the right.
Anubis,
I'm gonna
Anubis,
fight him
Anubis,
here. And
Anubis,
right.
Funny.
Can you?
You can do what you want, Cyno, if you
I'm
want
with
to
you
go.
guys.
I cannot chase by the way. I'm so
Susano,
sorry.
let's just do FG. Let's just
I
get
got Susano. I
FG.
got Susano.
Oh,
Double
fuck.
stun. Ah, shit.
I can maybe
You
run.
might go with me.
Yeah, I'm here with you.
I'm kind of with you.
Let's just do. Let's get FG. Let's get FG.
Okay.
Or-
I thought you guys were close enough.
Yeah.
I
You
guess
guys-
maybe
you guys
we
go
could
for
end
it.
it actually. Fuck.
Go ahead.
We have 40 seconds. We should just do this fast and get Phoenixes again.
Yeah, agree.
Nice.
Nice kill.
Nice
on me.
fuck your owning.
Let's go. Can we just end them?
Yeah, we can end now.
If you can not die to
Just try to
Freya, we
live.
win the game.
I am alive.
Holy fuck, you cannot give WorstTurttle Bastet, dude. What the
Seriously.
fuck?
And
Oh my god.
Easy.
Let's go.
Man, this guy is so big.
Not as much excitement. They should be I mean, there were a couple let's goes, but I feel like should be popping off a little more. Triple kill to end the game, 12, 3, and 12. And the reason that we are going to go to Game 3, it's all got to be WorstTurttle there at the NJ Mac.
Yeah, the good news for DuoQ is that he can't play it again. So they don't need to worry about banning it, because it's not going to happen a second time. But I like the little ending call there by the team and said, man, we just can't give WorstTurtle Bastet. He's just too good. And I think this is a performance that proves it. Now, he may have gotten a bit of a softball going up against an Anubis solo.
Yeah.
Which was a pretty easy matchup for him since you're able to maneuver away from Anubis's damage. As long as you have jump, you can probably escape once Rapis fade away, just jump out of the rest of the damage. But that also comes from CaptainTwig finding some great Krakens in the mid game, I would say. His early game leaves a little bit to be desired, but able to hit a couple of big Krakens. And able to, more than anything, I think, mitigate Pegon towards the mid to end point of that game. Because Pegon was that guy at the start of the game, at least for DuoQ. He was the guy keeping everybody together, holding the front line, making sure to weave his way to the back line. But it felt like as soon as that alternate timeline came on, Pegon really didn't feel comfortable diving to that back line to try and kill a CaptainTwig or any of the carries. And it kind of felt like he just fell off by that point.
And you could hear, at least at the end there, Nacho Gang, the entire conversation while they're falling back is like, I just don't want Pegon to get around. Like, Cyno's going back. He's like, I'm buying another ward. Like, we are getting coverage here. I am not letting Pegon run up on us. And once they were able to isolate him, it's a beautiful, beautiful play there by WorstTurtle. All falls apart there for DuoQ. So now it's tied 1-1. Find out if the mids can continue to reign supreme or if the jungles will knock them out right after this.
Really been going back to back to back to back to back to back to back. Like the neighborhood warriors. I don't miss, I don't play none, I don't diss, I don't say none. I go swish, that's an A1. I eat steak with no A1. Tell the chef, I said thanks, tell I'm in the bank. Tell my mom I'm living good, tell my kids don't stress a thing. I go back to back on the drops, drop a lot, and she pack the bag. She shot till we drop. I just wake up, I don't say nothing. I'm on go, I don't stay long. I've been up now, that's a case wine. I've been down too, like this day strong. I got summer toys for the summer boy. I keep drummer boys in the summer boy. I keep making noise, I've been paranoid. This is God body, you can never void. I don't miss, I don't play none. I don't diss, I don't say none. I go swish, that's that's an A1. I steak with no A1. Tell the chef, I said thanks. Tell I'm in the bank. Tell my mom I'm living good. Tell my kids don't stress a thing. I go back to back on the drops, drop a lot, and she pack the bags. She shot till we drop. These beats are up and beat 'em. These bags, you can't believe 'em. I never saw the country, but the money comes from Sweden. I meet 'em, then I leave 'em. I wake up, fight my demons. I never grew my circle. I can't trust you with my freedom. Get me locked down, keep you locked out. Only when it's here, you look pop now. I get drops now, on the top now. In the wintertime, still go top down. I get free. I don't go bust and I go plain Jane, watch me ski. Yeah, I see you now, I could tell you watching me. I go ghost, but tell me I'm more like his Lee. Rockstar, baby, turn pop star. I don't miss, I don't play none. I don't diss, I don't say none. I go swish, that's an A1. I eat steak with no A1. Tell the chef, I said thanks. Tell I'm in the bank. Tell my mom I'm living good. Tell my kids don't stress a thing. I go back to back on the drops, drop a lot, and she pack the bags. She shot till we drop.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, for the record, yeah. For the record, yeah. For the record, yeah. For the record, for the record, for the record. Been a little too nice to y'all. Now I gotta up price for y'all. Snake eyes on dice for y'all. Shoulders on ice for y'all. Frozen. H6 all the hate. I won't get involved today. Got lost in the ballin' age. I'm flipping the bars. I'm flipping the. On record, off record. I still count wins when they doubt it. On record, off record. I let them take advantage. I was wildin'. On record, off record deals. Tell them talk to Colin for the quote. On record, off record. I still want the act, not the ghost. Running through it with the young influence. Adolescent presence. I'm succumbing to it. I've been giving yeses when I shouldn't do it. I complete ejected with the Muzen looser. And I'm barely moving, but I'm still gon' boost 'em. I can't work on winnings when I know you're losing. So I went the winners and they throw the deuces. Guess I had to pivot, shooting the bazookas for the facts. I need racks, paper, cash, good tax. That's a joke. Tell 'em laugh. Uncle Sam got the bag. Brody plot, but get a whack. Contract, give me the max. I got lab on my back. You ain't that, then it's raps. Whoa, 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 whoa. For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, for the record, yeah. For the record.
Ready? I'm pulling up now. Girl, get suited up. I'ma take you out, we can ride around, just the two of us. You my twin flame, and no doubt about it, we be two in love. From me, your club, I ain't pulling out, I'ma shoot it up. Cause you the one, shawty, you the one. Yeah, you the one that's working for it. You the one that curved them for me. You the one that's searching for me. You the one that's hurting for me. You the one that deserve it from me. You the one that's perfect for me. Yeah, she a little freak. Yeah, she only do it for me. Yeah.
Well, it's a tie set here between the junglers in the mids as the fight for supremacy and the claim to best role in SMITE is still being fought over. JMac in game one, it was a lot of the jungles winning the early game and then good team fight from the mages. I guess the mid laners that fight back, and a lot of them actually were like guardians and stuff, so it really wasn't mages. Game two, is a little column A, little column B for some of these things, but I have to give credit to the very end, the triple kill from WorstTurttle, sealing the deal for the game that had been going a little back and forth early on, but slowly and steadily over the last 10 minutes in favor of Nacho Gang.
Yeah, I think this can very easily be summarized as one team had a 12-2 Bastet that had full damage in the solo lane. One team had a 2-11 full damage Anubis in the solo lane. And that's pretty much all that you need to wrap up beyond there. Look, as good as Hawkk was on his defense for his team, there's not much you can do when your secondary, what should be frontliner, is an Anubis who can't even get his full damage of his kit up before he's being absolutely blasted by Panitom or by WorstTurttle, or, oh, hey, here's a Kraken, so you literally can't do anything to defend up against this. This just came down to WorstTurttle never really had to have a problem. You know, the downside of the Bastet is once you get to late game, your biggest threat becomes, oh, did I accidentally pull a frontliner? You never have to worry about pulling a frontliner if BennyQ's not building defense, or if BennyQ just doesn't have his relics or his cooldowns available to avoid being a pull. You can just grab him for a nice, easy defense. Or if you want to go for the one frontliner they have, you have CaptainTwig burning beads away from this Terra at any given point. And then WorstTurttle can say, okay, cool, bet. I'm going to pull him back in. I get all my cooldowns, and now we can just kill him. And now they don't have a frontliner and nobody to defend. And then the biggest problem that Duo Q ran into is that Pegon was the best person to kill any of the backliners, but he can never get back to the backline. As soon as alternate timeline came online for CaptainTwig, he no longer had any real threat against Pegon. Cyno was going back and making sure that wards were being purchased for the rest of the team, and by that I mean he's making sure that Sam, CaptainTwig, and Panitom are picking it up, because we know Cyno's not picking up wards. WorstTurttle only picked up one that game, so he's not concerned. As long as they knew where Pegon was, Nacho Gang really had no threat once about that 20 or so minute mark came through, when this Anubis is so far behind, he can't do any damage, he also has no defense. It turns out that the Susano is really the only one who's any kind of powerhouse. Venenu had moments where he could really come online. But when your only frontliner is Terra, and now your Terra is dead, you don't really have a whole lot going up against this composition.
No, and you know, I was going to make a point about like wards like being good for things, because I was like, oh, well, guess what? Benny's 2-12, 0 wards. But then you also have a guy who went 12-3 with 1 ward. So I guess it kind of balances out here. And you win this one. Not warders, I guess, going into game 3. Tied 1-1, and Nacho Gang will be your first pick team.
Oh, now we can see 20 on
the
board.
Now 20 gods completely off the board, with an additional 6 before the first god can get locked in, and then an additional 4 before the bottom 4 will be finished. So by the time the last god is locked in here, J-Mac, 30 gods off the board. And unless my mind is failing me... Oh, there we go. The Morrigan finally giving us something new. Why the Morrigan, do you think, instead of some of the others?
There's quite a few good Morrigan players on the other side for Duo Q. I mean, when you look at this roster of mid laners, just about every one of them has some kind of Morrigan in their back pocket. Also because a lot of the more niche style of picks have already been taken off the table. You have option to flex to some of the other potentials that a Morrigan could combo with. You can think of things like a Morrigan Cthulhu combo if you want to run something like that. Cthulhu may not be the greatest right now, but double of him always makes it for a little bit better. You still, I believe, have Hunbats as an available option. So there's some double trouble potential that can come from there. Nuwa as a first pick, probably just to take it away from Venenu, because it being left open means that Venenu has something he could do. So now you not only have banned a new god away from Venenu in the Morrigan, but you've now also taken the Nuwa for yourself. This is where the real fun now kicks in, because now that we've had 20 gods taken off the table, 6 of them were consistently banned, at least in the first phase. Now we're seeing some of the newer stuff. This is where the question comes for Duo Q as to what does your god pool look like now? Now that you've gone beyond what you can consider probably your comfort picks, your Atlas, your Anubis for BennyQ, what does he go to now? Does he jump over to some other traditional mage? Does he go for a Guardian, a Warrior, something like that? Because it's not only what you have played, you know, you have your Atlas and your Anubis, but oh, by the way, now things like Poseidon have been removed, and Huang, which is a safety factor for him that he loved to play whenever he was in mid. Everything that you are picking and also the enemy picking is now pulling away from your god pool and allows for, and kind of more so requires you to be a bit more flexible once you start getting into game 3. And then as we've had fun discussing potential when we maybe get to Game 5, if we make it that far into a set on Sunday for our grand finals. So this is where the real how flexible are you, not just in your role, but in the god pool of your role, when not just you, but other people are also dipping their hands into it.
Now here's my question. Nuwa, Vin was already playing, and it feels like a pretty simple pickup, right? Nothing too crazy in her kit. Rom, people were already playing, so nothing too crazy there. And you know, in fact, I'm even going to skip over one here to talk about the other two. Bakasura was being played.
Yep.
And Athena, maybe not so much, so she's kind of been on the fringe. Maybe is a little more confusing, and might pose the same question here as Kuzenbo, who gets locked in. And my question for you, J-Mac, is who takes it?
Ooh. I did not think that was the question you were going to ask me, was who takes the Kuzenbo. I thought you were going to ask, like, why Kuzenbo,
well,
if anything.
You know what? That's also in there. Why Kuzenbo?
So, Kuzenbo is very annoying.
Yes.
He is very annoying for a couple of reasons. One, he has the damage reflect in his kit. Pops that, anything you deal to him, he fires a little bit back off. Couple that with things like Thorns. Now you're dealing double the damage back to yourself that you had initially
It was an anti-Nuwa pick the whole time.
But along with that, it's a ton of cooldown reset, because once you pop that Shell Spike, you start getting hit by things in the mid-late game. Your cooldowns start getting lower for your dash and for the Nene Capital. You can throw more of those out, dash a little bit more. But he's more than anything just a massive disruption tool. He prevents you from doing the things you want to do, which is typically move away from a Kuzenbo or just move in general in any kind of straight line fashion. Between the dash, between the knockup from Watery Grave, it makes channeling Athena dash very difficult. It makes going into New Wall Ultimate a little bit difficult. It makes auto-attacking his Bakasura a living nightmare at that point. So this Kuzenbo, while it was drafted before some of those, it just makes every god's life a little more difficult, because when that Watery Grave is channeling, you have to constantly keep trying to reapply. You have to either try and redo the dash, or retry and fire base attack, or try and throw your ultimate out there. He's just not a fun god to have to play against. Very fun to play as, but not fun to play against.
Ooh.
As far as where he goes, I would probably bank on this one going to the support role. It's probably his best spot, but still can go solo if you want to be a little bit more of a menace and have a little bit of fun over on that side. I would say probably depends on your lane matchup.
No, along with the 20 gods that were unavailable coming into this, and the 6 band at the front, Nacho Gang get rid of Giannis and Agni. The other side, Chernobog, Apollo. As it's Rom, Kuzenbo, Pele, and Morgan Le Fay that got locked in. They hovered Chang'e for a little bit, and I got prematurely excited because I thought we were going to get to see Chang'e. And unfortunately, Zeros isn't on this team, so of course we're not going to see any Chang'e, as Nacho Gang looks to try and find an answer to this. But J-Mac, what I'm learning is really on a normal SPL day, we kind of got a lot of variety in almost every single role. Because, like, you know, while Morgan Le Fay and Nuwa, at least the most recent meta, weren't like the top of the top or even being talked about in Nuwa's case, after what we've seen over the last couple of weeks, I wouldn't be surprised if you're telling me in like a month and a half or in whatever week of SPL Phase 2 is going on, that these two were locked in against each other.
For Morgan Le Fay, I think a bit of it comes down to the recent surge of the tablet build. Morgan Le Fay has very low cooldowns on her first 3 abilities, which is where you're going to get the easiest proc of Tablet of Destiny, Soul Reaver, things like that. So you can go Tablet into Book of Thoth, Breastplate, Soul Reaver, Obsidian Shard, and you're going to be pretty solid in your build. You're going to have a very hefty amount of poke, a lot of true damage that's going to come through, at least from your Tablet build, because of all the other mana supplements that are coming your way. Nuwa's also very good at proc style of builds, but in a slightly different fashion, in that she can build a lot of CDR and get her ultimate to do a lot of the heavy lifting for her. We always make the joke, Nuwa, press 4, haha, do a lot of damage, top player damage. It's for a good reason. You go into something like an Archmage gem, gives you a lot of initial burst damage on the proc of that. Then you throw in things like Tablet, Soul Reaver, Soul Gem, Ethereal Staff, all, aside from Soul Gem, all very popular items currently in the meta for either mids or solo laners to build. So you have a lot of different items that you can just build as a Nuwa to, haha, press 4, do all of my damage, and now everybody takes a whole boatload of damage. But it's really good in that sense, because now you can start a fight with Nuwa Ultimate, deal 500-600 damage to every single person on the field, and now your carries have to back up a little bit further. They don't want to play. So it's almost like Chiron Centaurus Ultimate, where you want to start a fight with Centaurus, do half the damage health to one of those carries, but you're doing it to all 5 people, and you don't have to aim. You just press a single button, and you have all of your items do the heavy lifting.
It's just unreal.
Plus 2 minions at level 1.
Plus 2
That's
minions.
also really good. That's the best buff she has gotten in a long time.
It feels so much better.
Now I can put 2 points into Shining Metal at level 4, as opposed to having to put it 2 into Soldiers.
Yeah, to try and just get that extra little bit.
It's so
and
nice.
The thing I love, like, Nuwa's kit is one of those kits that always has, like, a surprising amount in some of the nuances where you're just like, wait a minute, I got Prot Shred? You're right? What? And yes, that's something you can do, Clay Soldier Explosion. And so little things like that can make her feel really good. Neith very recently got some buffs as well and is locked in alongside the Kleena for Nacho Gang. And so Kleena Bakasura, I feel like we've seen, and again, just competitive-wise, Kleena go solo more often than not. Bakasura, I can't think of a single time he's gone solo, so does that feel a little more right to you as far as the split?
Yeah, I think pretty much ever since Hand of the Gods was changed from its initial form way back in like Season 1, where you could use it on lane minions, Bakasura solo has kind of fallen out. Also, when Cyclone Spin stopped playing solo lane, let's also throw that as the extra kind of if factor there. If Cyclone is playing and Hand of the Gods exists in the game in its original incarnation, sure, Bakasura solo is great.
Yeah.
But inside of the jungle is really kind of
in the year
stamped its presence.
2023.
Yeah. In the year of our Lord and Savior 2023, Bakasura in the jungle makes the most sense to me, especially considering we just saw Bastet go to the solo lane. You get an ability style of assassin over there who can clear the wave really easily, not get super heavily punished by anything that's thrown over there. Most likely going to be seeing Kleena go over to the opposite lane. Now, which of these 5 gods does she have to fight against? Either the Kuzenbo or the Cabrakan. Neither of them are fun, but she at least has some ways to deal with the Cabrakan. If he's going to channel his Tremor, you can pop your Scream, just get that quick silence off and stop. You can also just dash out of the Tremor at that point, or if he's beelining to you with that first ability pop, dash away, you have a little bit of extra go, or you can just turn around, hit him with a stealth, and now he can't see you, and he's just kind of flailing at the wind there with all of his millions of movement speed and attack speed at that point. So if this is Cabrakan going against the Kleena, should also be a good time for WorstTurttle over there. Hopefully for BennyQ doesn't get absolutely camped by the combo of assassins, but as a Cabrakan has extra ways to be able to deal with both of these assassins compared to how he was on Anubis, which is very heavy single target.
Yeah, it's something that, in theory, is going to open up at least more avenues than we had in the past. I want to know, though, you know, obviously Nuwa mid, Neith carry, but the one thing we've seen is, even with the buffs, while Neith has gone over there, in fact, we saw it last week into the duo lane, it feels like she's almost always been better when she's thrown in mid, only because that time of ultimate travel getting cut down feels like is really nice. If you're ulting someone in mid, guess what? You're already there, and then it's the same distance to left and right. Do you think like having that ult taken away is going to open any, or I guess not taken away, but further away, is going to open any opportunities for the Pele to get something done, or does it not really matter?
I mean,
am I making mountains out of molehills?
Pele's just going to run you down no matter what. If you can get an ultimate away, cool. You get away from a Pele for a moment. Volcanic Lightning's going to allow her to just dash in immediately and chase down just about anybody on this map. The only person, I was going to say the only person who can really get away from Pele might be this Neith, but as mentioned, you backflip away. She just chases you down with Volcanic Lightning. There's not a lot of great ways to actually honestly deal with Pele, because like Pele does a lot of damage, especially in hands, and if she's already used her ultimate, you don't want to Athena taunt her towards your team where she's firing conal auto attacks that are doing an immense amount back to you. So there's not a whole lot of great answers except for hope that Bakasura finds her first and probably deals too much damage for her to fire back.
Well, you know what? I guess we'll just have to find out how it is, who will win. It's 1v1 as we go into Game 3 of set number 2 today. Remember, 2 more sets to continue at this point. After this, where we'll get to see the other jungle teams, the other carry team is going to be in there. Solo laners will be tomorrow. And the supports will start showing up. That's who we haven't seen yet at all. Nacho Gang won Game 2. Duo Q with Game 1. It's me, it's J-Mac, it's Doug.
We're back to a close one.
And it is 52-48 in favor of Nacho Gang. J-Mac, I'm going to be honest, I don't even know where to start. There's so much to look at. I want to give some credit. So Sam, I think this is actually one that just makes sense in the grand scheme, which is we've seen Sam play Athena in the jungle to mixed success, but to some success nonetheless. And I feel like when you give Athena a team that can follow up, that's when she's most successful. So I guess the question is, I mean, you've got an assassin, 2 assassins even, a mage, and a hunter masquerading as a mage, or a mage maybe masquerading as a hunter, depending on how you want to look at Neath. Ability-based with some autos that can hit pretty hard. Does Sam have enough follow-up here to pull everybody in and, I guess, set this team apart when we get into the late game?
The one benefit that Athena has is that no matter what your actual follow-up is, you never want to be Athena taunted. I see an Athena, I don't care who I am, I'm probably picking up beads because Athena taunt is just one of the most brutal abilities to have to try and fight away from, to try and get out, because she pulls towards you, she can wrap herself around and now body block you from being able to escape, or she just pulls you into a bunch of damage. To answer, is there enough follow-up to really be a threat? Absolutely. You have a Nuwa who now no longer needs clay soldiers to put any kind of threat of damage, though if you clay soldier 2 of them right on top and then you hit them with shiny metal, you get that extra big bit of burst. You have a Neath as follow-up, and while Neath isn't a mage, as you highlighted, she is mage-like in her damage, being more of an ability-focused style of hunter. So I guess the easiest way to answer is yes, there's absolutely enough. While you are lacking more of the what I like to call the big boom style of damage, like your raw ults, your cuckoos, your thoughts, things like that, you have so much small poke that you can keep throwing out that those taunts are going to matter. And once those beads are gone, there's going to be enough threat to deal with. And well, BennyQ, he didn't get to have fun in game 2. Might not get to have as much fun in game number 3 either, but he goes back into WorstTurttle. Not a smart idea, and he's just dead.
Just that simple, man. Now a little bit of follow-up. Pegon kind of trying to retaliate. Not much you can do in a 1v2. Level 3 as Pele. Some damage thrown towards Sam. Good taunt. The duo lane back to just a poke fest. It is the solo lane, though. BennyQ going down. J-Mac, I'm going to be honest with you. After last game, does not bode entirely well for where Duo Q and their team and their hopes might be.
Yeah, this is not do or die for Duo Q at this point. Your Cabrakan going down is not great. Pegon can't always make a turnaround on Pele. Level 5 is where she's really going to come online up against Panitom. That's where really both these assassins are going to make their presence known. But, I mean, BennyQ's just going to keep walking up like this. Gets beads from WorstTurttle, so that's a huge win for BennyQ. But once WorstTurttle comes back, he can still just do a whole lot of damage. He hasn't gone back to buy Soul Leader, which is really where the big early power spike of Kleena comes online. Is I have Soul Leader, I do a lot of damage, I'm healing pretty much everything that the minions would be doing back to me and you. And being able to stop and essentially thwart much of what BennyQ wants to do, this Kleena is actually a really solid pick for solo. I mentioned earlier about being able to silence out the Tremor, being able to throw out the Stealth to avoid being stunned out by the 1 because you have enough range and you're also just going to be moving a little bit quicker yourself. And then just has free wave clear. If at any point WorstTurtle feels threatened, walk up to wave, press 4, minions are dead, and he has nothing to worry about, and he can just keep going back and forth. So I've got no worries for WorstTurtle. More so worries for BennyQ depending on how his build path goes, and, well, yeah, okay. It might be one of those games again.
No, I believe.
Pegon's not on Susano.
Ship will be righted. Maybe not, though. I think the real question right now, J-Mac, in fact, I'm going to even levy it to you because you've got the option. If you had a team you wanted to listen to of these two, and maybe even a moment, considering right now they're literally not doing anything, so it might be the most boring thing to listen to, so bear in mind on that. Who are you vibing with?
I think Nacho Gang at this point, especially with being able to get away from a gank at this point. Cyno's probably just dead. But I'm kind of honestly wondering what's going through WorstTurtle's mind. The fact that he has soloed BennyQ, he's gotten 2 kills total on him with the help.
Do you think he's just like ice cold? Yeah, I don't know why I'm asking. We could literally just find out. I feel like he's ice cold though. And you know what? Because we've been talking about it, I do kind of want to get a listen and prepped for Nacho Gang. Specifically to see what WorstTurtle's thinking, especially right now as he once again forces BennyQ under tower.
I'm gonna try and get timer on the blue.
Yeah.
We're actually pretty low, I will say.
Yeah, you might try to ult you if you can.
2 in mid here.
I can't. Where's Pet?
Pele's.
I'm backing
I think she's
with
going right
ults.
jungle.
I'm backing with
She's
ults.
here right now.
Okay.
Pele has sold.
Do you want ult, Penny, or no?
I have all.
No, he has sold. He has sold.
Do you wanna die this Cabra by the way? In red. He's 50%
You want
low.
ult there? What?
You want me to ult?
In a bit, in a bit.
Wait, can we need all this Pele?
Pele? Yeah, where is she?
Cabra,
I'm ulting Pele. I ulted her. Oh, somebody blocked it. Somebody
someone
blocked it. Somebody blocked it.
Can we fight this?
I'm ulting you just in
I'm
case.
ulting over here.
He ulted.
Boys are coming.
Cabra's low by the way.
I can dash on it.
That's blue's up.
Can we kill Cab?
Yeah.
Pele has no ult there. Pele has no ult there.
Oh,
He's
nice. You need help, Penny? Pele's here.
I'm coming.
I'm good.
I'm never gonna be there. Morgan's missing a wave. That's all I can do.
I'm
never gonna be there.
We're fine. We're all fine.
I'm gonna grief this guy.
We're all fine.
Their red's up too.
Rama's going to prot. Rama's
You
on
can share
prot.
everything.
No eyes on Kuzubo. Rama's on prot.
You can solo
Turn
blue
off
anything.
wave.
Don't give a fuck.
That was Pele ult. need
Kuzubo's
so
on
much
back.
shield,
So they're
probably.
invading my purple.
Yeah,
Kuzubo's over here.
here, so.
I'm back in.
It's gone.
This Cabra's is so far bent.
They're gonna do purple
don't
and the
know.
prot camp.
Oh, I should have. I should have done something.
They're doing this right now.
Okay.
They have a ward on backs as well. They're gonna swing on these backs. Right?
These
Waiting
mids
for
are
my
up
ult.
too.
40 seconds before I do anything.
Sorry, up.
I can come after wave.
So, some clear and concise comms. One got you giggling. It was CaptainTwig's response. They're talking about how Morgan Le Fay in there, and CaptainTwig goes, I'm never going to be there. That is the most mid-laner response I've ever heard from a new wall with no ultimate. He just says, yeah, your opponent's here. And he's like, yeah, I'm not going to be there. That ain't happening, bro. Well, not even, not just I'm not. I'm never going to be there. There's never a shot you put him in that scenario. Twig will be there. Twig will say, I will throw an ultimate, and that's all you get. And then he said, yeah, I have no ultimate. I'm never going to be there. That is so. That might be my favorite comm I've heard all day. Is I'm never gonna be there. It was good. I don't know the. I'm going to redact some words for it for taste, which is because I'll get in trouble on broadcast. But it's just too easy, or that might even be an incorrect paraphrase. Who knows? On left in game 1 from Nacho Gang was pretty fun for me. Neath ults being called out. The comms clear on this team. From Nacho Gang. And the bullying, man. They recognized they wanted to go for Pegon. Somebody blocked the ult, which saved Pegon's life. And poor BennyQ had to suffer the consequences. He's the one who caught the stray. And unfortunately, he's going to catch another one, it looks like. There's no way they don't dive this. Panitom with minions. And a few autos gets it done. 4 kills for Nacho Gang. Every single one of them is on BennyQ right now. Rom in the air. Snipe 1 connects. Snipe 2 hits. Snoopy still got it since season 2, baby. The snipes are there. Cyno threw his hands up and said, yeah, he's just got that one. WorstTurttle? Oh, I made it to the wall. Oh, no. Pegon walked in. Silence damage good. WorstTurttle putting on a show over in the Soul lane. First on the Bastet, now on the Kleena. They really said, you know what? BennyQ's best solo god is Atlas, and he used that in game number 1. He cannot touch that one again, and they have not let him live it down. That one defense, that big highlight moment BennyQ got, might unfortunately just be the only moment that he gets, because he has not been given an inch to breathe. 0-4, soloed out, ganked, caught a straight. They were trying to go for you. I mean, you heard it. They were trying to go for Pegon. They neath ult. They said, I've got neath ult on Pegon. Gets body blocked by Hawkk. They say, okay, well, we can't do anything. And BennyQ's sitting in his tier 1 town and say, well, we can just kill the Cabrakan then. I mean, he's half health inside tower, and then they do. Gotta feel bad for BennyQ, but just a Nacho Gang just have great communication throughout this. I mean, they're saying ahead of what they want to do. They say, I have a neath ult for who? Yes, go ahead and fire. We'll get ready. They call for it, and then immediately say, no, it got blocked. We're pulling ourselves away from this fight. The communication is very clear at Nacho Gang. As long as they can keep BennyQ down like they had in game number 2 and like they are right now in game 3, I think that Nacho Gang have a pretty clear path to victory for themselves. No push from Hawkk onto Twig. An immediate taunt from Sam. In fact, some damage follow-up. Look, Twig might not rotate, but he will be there if you're in his lane. Stun good onto BennyQ, and another kill. 6-2. And unfortunately, he is 0-5-0.
CaptainTwig's not a true new WoW player. He didn't try to ult to steal that one. He had ultimate. He could have stolen that kill.
No way. Okay, good. Pegon solidifies a kill in the jungle against Panitom. At least keep some things going their way. But J-Mac, man, it is not a cozy spot to be in. 2,200 gold, 2,400 gold. Pretty early on.
Snipes?
And Snipes.
One
connects, 2 shots! And he still got it, man! Looking good for Snoopy. Helping his team pick up some kills. Unfortunately, you can't fight the WorstTurttle rotation 10.5 minutes in. The solo laner over on Duo's side. Not only pressuring out the Duo lane, 1 kill, forced Hawkk to fall back. Now looking for a fight. Trying to find the kill. Damage going to be off the mark. Hunt is good, though. With this massive of a rotation, you have to think a Gold Fury on their mind. No, just the kill. Just bloodlust from the junglers.
WorstTurtle's unstoppable, man. I mean, he's not there yet. He needs 1 more kill to technically be unstoppable. But who is going to kill WorstTurtle at this point? It's got to be Pegon. And probably Venenu and BennyQ working together. You need a team to take down WorstTurtle at this point because he has just made this map his. He feels like he is just the second jungler at this point. He's bullied out BennyQ so hard. He's already getting his lifesteal online. He has Soul Leader working towards Transcendence, so he's got a lot of damage. BennyQ, Benny, don't walk up to them. They're the ones who have been, they're the reason you're 0-5 right now. You used your ultimate, and now you have nothing left to fight back. He gets a stun on Panitom, but he's not the problem. It's WorstTurtle. Oh, no, now he is unstoppable.
And Panitom does not seem like he's going to be in too much danger. Pegon is here. Maybe he goes down. The auto's just a little too late. But WorstTurtle's the one who's the issue. He's going to get another one. Triple kill for WorstTurtle. 9-0-2. 100% kill participation. And you just can't stop him.
Do you happen to know the rule on the timer for the surrender policy?
Do we have a mercy rule?
Is there like a surrender timer? Is it 15 minutes? Is it 20 minutes? I don't remember. I know it's been adjusted over the course of the years, but feeling like one of those games where it might just be a pack it up and go. I mean, I know that we've been...
It's the set, though. You got to play it out.
We've been making the joke, you know, duo queues a late game, or just in general, mid laners have been the late game team. The problem is you can't make it to late game at the rate it's going. BennyQ's 4 levels down. Snoopy can't even go to purple. Sam is just chilling by. Okay, never mind. Is Sam showing mercy to them?
Sam's taking the purple.
He took the buff away. He waited for them to start it up so he could walk it out. He didn't steal it away, but he just inconveniences them. He really did learn from the best on being annoying supports.
You know what? When you team with Mike, I think he's gonna like.
A little part of Mike never really leaves you.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful lesson that we've learned here.
Aegis. Oh no, the Aegis too early from Ven. Oh, tower? Not quite enough. Oh, he dodged.
Someone's gotta kill this man.
They got him, and it's BennyQ. Oh, it's game over now. BennyQ's back online.
1-6 gets the kill that's needed. Will he come back for his team? Panitom here, throwing some damage towards Pegon. Stun doesn't connect. In fact, nothing connects. BennyQ goes for the trembles, the tremors. Keeps Sam dancing around for a little bit longer. Massive kill. I mean, look, when you get a kill and it makes that big of a dent on the gold chart and the experience chart, it is a huge deal. Massive shutdown against WorstTurtle, who still hasn't respawned. So maybe BennyQ back on the right track. And I cannot believe Pegon lives there as well. Less than 50 health.
Look at that healing.
And he gets to walk away. So J-Mac, maybe we were calling a little too early. Nacho Gang, solid start. But Duo Q starting to fight back into it.
All you need is WorstTurtle to take a really bad fight. Be a little too low, and for
dive
Pegon
real hard.
And for a whole lot of people to show up to deal with him. And that's kind of the problem that you run into now as Nacho Gang is effectively all of your kills were on one person. Between your 12, 9 of them were on WorstTurttle. He just got shut down by the guy that he's been stomping in lane the entire time. It didn't make as big of a dent at the end. I mean, it was 14 to 10, then 15 to 11. The shutdown plus the extra assist gets BennyQ up to 13, but not entirely back out of the trenches just yet. DuoQ, though, slowly crawling their way back out.
Well, Nacho Gang wants to keep them in the hole that they've dug, though. Picking up Pyromancer, losing out on the Gold Fury. And so that gap closing ever so slightly. 12 to 9. And we're back around 2,500 gold. Not quite a full slice and half from DuoQ, but a beautiful play. Runic Bomb. I was looking for it on the wrong team. Nacho Gang. WorstTurttle has it. So I have to imagine a little bit of pressure that you're going to expect from the junglers here. But J-Max, some of the fights maybe getting a little sloppy. Is it overzealous nature from Nacho Gang, maybe choosing to dive too deep? Is it DuoQ playing well? Maybe it's a little overzealous. Sam goes in, looks for the taunt, has no backup, it would seem, from his team. Pushed against the wall. Now Panitom shows up. Vin's getting bullied. WorstTurtle rotates in. Damage is there. They need to find that last hit, and Panitom's going to pick it up, but it does cost them a massive target. Second death for WorstTurtle on board. Snoopy, Pegon, and Hawkk chasing people down. Brilliant route from Cyno. Locks them up and gives a kill over, but it's matched by Snoopy. Panitom looking for another, but a great crit. Gets the triple for Snoopy. He might go down, or maybe not. The team here to save him. Snoopy. Walls up from Benny, and now the snipes. Two are going to connect. He needs one more auto. No, just a little shy. The hero play. He almost made it. But it all falls apart at the end. We're left with two remaining, BennyQ and a barely alive Hawkk.
That is just such an unfortunate moment for Snoopy. He could have had such a massive turnaround there. Doesn't end up getting the last snipes that he needed. Missed the second one because of the backflip from the need, so Cyno's able to reposition, gets out of the damage from the second snipe, because that would have been enough. Second snipe plus the third one connecting, that kills for sure. But Snoopy just misses that second bit because of the mobility afforded to Cyno via that backflip. And now, Nacho Gang have been able, or I shouldn't say Nacho Gang have been able, I should say DuoQ have enabled themselves to really close up some of this lead. We're only sitting at about 1,000 gold at this point, 600 experience, effectively nothing. Which is crazy to say considering BennyQ was down almost 4 levels just minutes ago. But when you have fighting after fight after fight, none of that matters anymore. It just comes down to who wants to brawl more and who's going to be better at brawling. And so far, DuoQ in the group brawls have been coming out on top, but in these 1v1 picks, Panitom and Nacho Gang, they're still coming out on top.
A lot of pressure. You get on this game, lose, and you're out. Single elim. Taunt from Sam. It's just a little bully. Damage being thrown out. Little CC for some extra procure. Snoopy was taken down not too long ago. Panitom picked that one up, and a pretty easy kill considering another minute for Snoopy's relics to come back up. Cyno might not be in a good spot, getting Sam to ult on over to make it a 2v2, but Cyno's taking a lot of damage before he can even start. Taunt is great, and there's the root. Do you have the damage for the turnaround? Ult, the volcanic lightning, not good enough. Cyno turns that one around, puts Pegon in the ground, and now the chase is on. WorstTurtle, a little late on getting to Hawkk. That is going to allow DuoQ to back away from this fight after another great play from Nacho Gang.
I thought Pegon was going to turn that. Don't even get a moment to think about that. WorstTurtle walked up. Snoopy knocked him right back down. Snoopy snipes.
He just hits him.
You can take Snoopy away from the hunter role, but as soon as you put him right back in and you give him one of his OG gods, he's going to snipe you with every one of them snipes. Again, only missing out on number 2 of the 3 in the previous one. Every other time, landed all of his shots, got those kills. It's proven why you can never truly take the hunter out of a carry player like himself. Pyromancer goes down to DuoQ, but Panitom wants to take down Venenu. The snipe is Aegis out, but Panitom still has the enhance to take him out after.
Now BennyQ walls up, locked down onto Sam and a Panitom. And it's going to give 2 kills over to DuoQ, chasing down for Cyno. They want that third. It'll even up the game in terms of kills. If they can find it, Twig throws up the minions. That'll slow and deter BennyQ, but Cyno might have juked the wrong way. Goes for a little bit of healing. BennyQ looking for a little more. Dodges out autos, but not enough. Instead, the style points backflip kill. And now, unfortunately for Hawkk, you're surrounded. A little bit of healing for the Neath allows him to walk back into this with body blocks from WorstTurttle and Twig. And now J-Mac, 20 minutes in, Nacho Gang. The 3,000 gold lead, start up the FG. Sam's ulting in. And they're going to have the numbers advantage. And the Fire Giant belt around all 5.
Just a tad late. Does he have it? No, he just missed the third. I thought Snoopy was going to go absolutely insane. Just missed the last snipe onto WorstTurttle. A blind shot in the dark at that point. So can't fault him for missing the smallest of the 3 shots, but a great effort. A little late for the steal at that point. But that fight is won by Cyno. And I'm not going to say Cyno alone, but that fight is won by Cyno's thinking and his decision-making throughout that fight, his pathing throughout the jungle, making sure, okay, well, I have a Kappa running at me one way, CaptainTwig able to throw out some minions and really kind of force BennyQ away for that, buys a little bit of extra space. Cyno heals off the wave, then waits for the Cabrakan to walk up. Stun's not going to connect to him, so he then roots him in place, gets a few more in-hands, and then sets up for the style flip after. It's just Cyno keeping his team alive now over on the opposite side. 3, 5, and 7 doesn't look as impressive, but his decision-making in these fights have been great.
Well, they've got Fire Giant now, and they are moving themselves forward as Nuwa tumbles back to the ground. I want to hear what Nacho Gang is thinking as they start to press forward against the base of DuoQ.
I got our box right.
I'm really useless. Like,
okay, let's leave. I don't like it.
I can just play it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should get waves.
I'm close to Bluestone.
I got my starter. I'm gonna be ready for Beacon.
I'm farming left for Bluestone, I think.
Yeah, can I clear with you, Penny? I just need like 50 gold.
Yeah, I need like 400 for my starter.
Same.
I'm good now.
I need like 1,200 for a starter.
I got compassion.
When I get
I do so much damage though. Like if you taunt somebody in front of me, I think I kill him.
If I had Rod.
Wait, did you guys? I haven't upgraded my shell yet. Do you want Phantom or no?
Beacon's coming soon.
Yes. It might be. Yeah, you probably should.
I'm ulting you.
You guys, are you fine? I am not there for a while.
Nice.
Nice kill.
Oh, Rama.
Can we chase this guy?
Maybe.
They have no.
When's new wall? When's new wall?
Cabrakan's in
careful,
there.
No, I'm not there
careful.
forever. Okay, boys.
I'm okay.
I have ult. If we have new
three
ult,
here, right.
I am never there by then.
You dead? Oh,
yeah.
fuck.
Morgan ult, Kuzen ult.
They're gonna push.
You're
gonna get the
Cabrakan's here.
left though.
It's only Cab, Ben. Only Cab.
Yeah.
If you can stop box, I get this.
If Cab,
He's
watch out,
backing,
Cyno.
he's
Yeah, watch
backing.
out.
I think I'm fine. I have.
Who back? Who back?
Cab.
Cab's backing. I'm getting Beacon.
I get this though. I mean, we get. It's fine.
That was Kuzen,
We got
Blink.
Beacon and Tower.
Rama rolled in.
I'm just gonna ult.
No ult on him, Cyno. Let's go.
Fucking shit on, dude.
Let's go.
Don't fucking roll into me. What is he doing?
He's trolling.
That guy used to play ADC in SPL, by the way.
Yeah.
There's a Cabra alone in left.
Guys, you don't. Ben, do you care?
I can ult this guy. You want me to ult him?
Yeah.
Morgan's here.
Is it
Getting a
far
little
away as
troll.
fuck? Yeah. Beast.
Yeah.
He's too early.
He's they're gonna be full to their shit.
There. Pele blink ults.
Get in the
Play
wall,
had no
maybe.
ult. Play had no beats. I mean, play no beats.
Nice.
Nice kill.
No.
Ben, do you,
Find my dash.
We can go Pyro. I'm
Ben,
gonna
do
go
you
Pyro.
care about Phantom or no?
No, I don't.
That guy used to play ADC. That's all you need to say when you get a kill against Snoopy, man. Cyno. Some great moments there from Nacho Gang. And J-Mac, I'm going to be honest with you. I thought we were going to be doomed. The minute they start backing up, you see them, you lose a couple members with the Fire Giant. Feels like maybe it's not going to be too great, but they keep fighting, man. And give us some memorable moments at that.
Panitom did not want that fight. That was the entire team saying, hey, let's back up, let's reset, get our starters, get ready and get set up for Beacon, for Pyromancer, for Fire Giant, whatever objective we might be trying to rush down at this point. And then unfortunately Panitom ran straight into Pegon, and it looked almost like that. But it was the other way where Panitom helps getting a kill, but now unfortunate for Nacho Gang, they're the ones lacking their jungler and probably will be losing their Titan very quickly.
Titan ignored as of right now. Sam's being chased. They want this kill. Hawkk even blinks forward to get a little addition on there. Pegon v WorstTurttle. WorstTurttle in the walls. He goes for a little bit of damage, but has to play carefully. 11 and 4, by the way, for him. And then the Neath ult Cyno shoots the unmissable. Finds that one, but has to play carefully. Snipes, has to Aegis it out. Holds on to it. Snoopy comes crashing back down. There's going to be the damage dealers now joining in. And just in the blink of an eye, 2 gone. Double kill for the carry on Duo Q. WorstTurttle, though, trying to get something done on the map. Pushes up the minions. Doesn't feel confident. His capabilities to assault the Phoenix. So it's going to be a reset with Fire Giant coming up soon.
Now, Duo Q have a moment to breathe. Titans are both down. No more threat on either side of the map.
no
Nacho
pressure.
Gang also has some time to play with. Fire Giant is up, but still waiting for players, key players to get back online off of their death timers. CaptainTwig, Sam for Soccer, still a few seconds. Same for Venenu. So smaller objectives, at least the name. For these teams, Duo Q will take a Primal Fury. That's going to make their Fire Giant a little bit easier. The extra damage stack up that you get and the damage reduction that comes from having a stack of that up against these jungle bosses, these jungle monsters, makes it a little bit safer to try and go for the enhanced Fire Giant, which has kind of been one of the biggest threats for a lot of teams. Typically, we've been seeing a lot of get the Fire Giant before 30 minutes. Now we don't have to worry about the extra stats that come from it. Now we've been seeing it kind of migrate towards, let's start it around like that 28, 29 minute mark so we can get it started and then kill it right when it turns enhanced. So let's see what adaptations get made for Nacho Gang, because in these last couple of fights, they haven't really been fighting as a full unit. It's been a bunch of smaller, like, secret agents trying to fight up against each other. Namely, WorstTurttle, who hasn't been a part of much, can now join back in the fray.
Well, it's going to be 1 kill onto BennyQ. And that might just be all they have, but I want to hear a Duo Q. Low health bars on the other side. What are their comms like as they lose their carry, as they lose this fight? Maybe we don't even need to find out. 3 of them are gone. Only Panitom in trade. And I think that's going to be the rest in this moment, J-Mac. Not even an opportunity to see what the team was thinking, because they just died too quickly. Ult early on from Cyno onto Benny to isolate him, and then just unfortunate positioning for the rest. So Nacho Gang should be able to get a free FG. Pegon and Hawkk just going to try to get done whatever they can, wherever they can. Have to be careful about WorstTurttle, though, once again for Pegon. Out hunting in the jungle. Hawkk looking for the true 50-50 over here. Damage being dealt, mainly focused on the FG. Goes down before he can get the opportunity. Nacho Gang gets that. They do lose WorstTurttle for 50 seconds. You have to give Pegon some credit. 9-5 and 9. He's been having a rough game, but if WorstTurttle goes for the 1v1, we know who's winning.
Saving grace that Duo Q has in Game 3 versus Game 2, Gore, is even though BennyQ is 2 and 9, he's 2 and 9 as a full tank Cabrakan versus 2 and 9 as a full damage Anubis. So they have a second frontliner, someone who can initiate these fights, blink in, get a stun on one of these carries, take beads away from Panitom, from WorstTurttle, force the mobility out of Cyno to allow maybe Pegon to sneak towards the backline. Duo Q have extra avenues to get into these fights besides, I hope that Hawkk, aka my Terra, is available to jump up and throw walls. Now they have a Kuzenbo who can blink Sunder to the backline. You have the blink from Cabrakan to get back there. Pegon can snake around in any kind of given fight there. So for Duo Q, their defense is much stronger this game than it was. They might not have as great a clear tool against the minions. Morgan Le Fay has some decent throughout the Sigil, throughout that Wildfire immediately after to try and deal with some of those, but it's a much better frontline defense than they had in game number 2. And Nacho Gang is just as straightforward as they were from the rest of their sets as to how their initiation is. We wait for Sam for Soccer to go in. He taunts somebody, we deal damage. That's kind of the MO for Nacho Gang for their siege. Or you just do that. You just have Venenu or CaptainTwig press 4 and do a whole lot of damage.
Well, normally I ask you how defenses are going to look, but I'd rather just hear from the team themselves. Duo Q comms, as unfortunately for them, they lose Pegon.
Lock up Blink ult. Oh, I could have blinked away.
I'm kind of.
I think someone's in this wall.
They're gonna look to
Cleo poked.
burn
Cleo
my
poked
beats
again.
again.
I think you give up the right one, maybe, boys. I'm healing.
Oh, Snoopy's zoning.
Oh, Neith is half.
They have
I
no
healed
ults.
up.
You can maybe get her.
Cleo mid. I can maybe hold mid.
Baka no blink.
I'm coming mid.
Baka no blink. Baka no
If
blink.
they let me lifesteal this, and I can move
Is
a
there
little
bomb?
bit.
That's me,
Back
Cleo.
I think I'm alive.
I'm
I
coming
got a
back.
Cleo
grace. You're alone, Benny.
I don't buns for 2.
I'm okay.
Do you dash? No taunt for a bit. I'll pit 20.
Can we look mid?
Yeah.
I got a yield and I can try to
They're on
help.
Ben. We got Ben.
Yeah.
It's at the
Hold
all.
down.
I can kill him ball when I spawn.
If I'm lucky.
Kind of keep him here.
Neith has backflip care. Cleo no beats. Neith backflip down.
I'm up in 10.
Jesus, the new one just hit me for
Try to
a billion. I got a straight line. I got a reset.
Well, Cleo 1, Cleo 1.
I'm gonna go in here.
Yeah. I'm almost here.
Nice.
Nice kill, nice kill.
Eagle down. Nice.
She missed that.
Dodge.
Nice.
Mid? Just push mid.
This guy's gonna blink on me.
Baka's
He's gonna blink on
He
me.
has ult.
Nice.
Nice.
No problem.
Peace.
Oh, but you. Oh.
I'm push out
Hey, can you
right.
end?
I think we get T1, T2, right? Or fuck,
Yeah,
can we get
I'm not
Phoenix
sure.
first with you?
T2 Phoenix, maybe.
You can really get mid T2 to Phoenix.
My bad. Should be mid, right?
You're good. I can still probably get
Unlovely life for me. Just get fucking Neith ulted and then fucking Cleo on.
it. Yep.
I am agog, J-Mac. Not a single bit of emotion in any of their voices. That was a quadra kill, dude.
Pegon got a triple in like the blink of an eye. And he apparently
just,
didn't
like,
even
walks
bat
up-
an eye. He's like, okay, yeah,
Yeah, so
cool.
I'm gonna
and
hit
Snoopy stole his quad by getting the 4th kill, and then Pegon gets after, and it's just like,
And it could have
hey
been
guys,
a Penta.
It's like, hey guys, can we just hit? It was literally an auto, and an auto from either of them would have got that kill.
And
I was like, yeah, can we just end the game? No? All right, I'll just do tower then. I didn't even care. That was just like a That was just like them queuing up another game
can
of
you
Reds
imagine
together
being
at
that
point.
good at anything that you're nonplussed when you kill 4 people in Smite?
I get hyped when I get a kill.
Right? That's what I'm saying, dude.
And he's out here dropping a casual quadrant going, yeah, all right, cool. Nice fight, guys. That was fun.
You're lucky if I still have my hands on the keyboard. If that's the last kill, I'm not playing for the next 10 seconds while I do a celebration. Pegon does not care. Cold-blooded.
Hey, God.
Yeah, he just knows. You know, maybe that's what it is. He just expects them. You know, they're supposed to roll in for him. Quadra kills, that's nothing. Pentas are nothing. It's duo Q.
Should've
I mean,
secured
look,
your
right
Penta.
there, they make a good defense. Still down 7,000 gold, but at this point we're getting to the range where that doesn't really matter too much. What does matter is 2 Phoenixes down, although to quote them from Game 2, we were 2 Phoenixes down last game too. So we'll see if they can repeat that. Unfortunately, this time they were also 2 Phoenixes
Well, they're
down last
50-50
game.
on that one.
Yeah, so, you know, well, we'll see where that goes. But Fire Giant spawning back in. Enhanced this time around, J-Mac. 3 kills separate them. Whew, a lot going through my mind. And I'm sure a lot going through their mind. Man, I'm never going to get over that.
I heard them go, man, Nuwa just ulted me, and that did a lot more damage than I wanted. Which is not fun when you're against a full build Nuwa. But now it's Duo Q having to step up to a Fire Giant. It's Benny, the first one in the pit.
Going in, sets up the walls. WorstTurttle blocked off. And the damage seems to be good, but it's on the BennyQ. Instead, there's no help, no survival from the team. Instead, they're looking elsewhere. BennyQ goes down, but they get rid of Panitom. Snoopy goes for the snipes, not able to find what he needs.
Pegon?
It's back and forth. It's Pegon one more time.
He's
a
at it
double kill,
again!
triple kill as he continues to chase him down. 2 low health bars, and you can
Give it to him
tell
this time.
this man's not emoting
Give
at
it to him
all.
this time.
The quadra kill, pick up for him. Cyno deep in the jungle, spotted by Vin and taken away, but a deicide for Duo Q, and they're looking to run it down mid, put the junglers in the ground, and win this set.
That is the ideal lineup for Pegon. He says, okay, Sam, I'm right past you. No big deal. I'm going to blink pass and just kill your entire backline. Pegon is just that guy. I cannot believe that Pegon just got to free cast in every one of these team fights.
Oh, I missed my one server.
It's no problem.
Oh, it's
no
just
problem.
that easy.
Oh my fucking god.
Solo!
There's the emotion. There's what I was wondering when we were going to get it.
Just rename himself to Pegon at this point. He's that guy. He is him.
2 quadras.
In the same
Back-to-back
game.
team fights. Look at that man.
The same game.
By the way, did not smile when he got either of them. I know the first one did not. I'm assuming he didn't during the second one either. Maybe it started because that was the end of the game. But back-to-back quadras. Good plays from Pegon. And J-Mac, the mid laners go, 30, 40 minutes and do their best to win the game. It only falters once out of 5 games. And both mids stay alive in the tournament.
If there's anything I've learned from this tournament, Gore,
yeah,
it's that there are players out here willing to fight for a different role just to be in the SPL next time. Stewart has already proven that he's got some mid lane potential. Now Pegon showing that he could just be a jungler if he wants to, because well, he was kind of already playing Jungle Gods when he jumped in Season 9 and is still doing the same thing. I'm speechless, man. We go entire phases sometimes without seeing so much as even maybe a triple kill or a quadra kill from a player. And Pegon just did it twice in the same game in back-to-back fights. It wasn't like he started the game getting a quadra kill and then ended the game on it. Just one Phoenix defense. He jumps in, kills 2 carries, waits for the tanks, nearly gets a penta, 1 auto stolen. This time he gets the first kill, goes past, waits for Sam to walk at him, and blinks past Sam to then hit an ultimate into 3 backliners, kills those 3, and the only one he doesn't end up getting is one that Venenu ends up snaking away from at the very end. It's criminal that Pegon just got 2 quadra kills, and both of them were pentas stolen by his other carries alongside him.
It's easy to forget how that game started. So first off, you jump in for a highlight. You're looking at it. Snoopy 4-1 already. His snipes were incredible. Have to give him credit for some of the
100%.
early game. Pegon as well. It's really easy to forget that a lot of that early game was just BennyQ getting smacked around in lane. I mean, it was unfortunate for him. Like a majority of the deaths, I think at this point, half the deaths, if not a little more, were on the Cabrakan over in solo. That's where the focus was from Nacho Gang. Luckily for DuoQ, they were finding fights elsewhere and balancing things out. Getting quadra, just shy of getting a penta. If that auto had been, instead of having to juke because his health bar was so low because he's doing it all anyway, if he had been able to get in for the fight, it would have been insane. But this is the one you were
didn't even need to blink. He just walked.
It's just a great place. Back-to-back quadras. And look, I'm going to say it. It's gone on record. Pegon, not the biggest fan of doing interviews. But when you do stuff like that, you literally can't avoid it. So spoiler alert for who's going to be on the interview. He's actually standing over there right now. 17, 6, and 10. Look, BennyQ goes 2-11. I think 2-12 the game before. But what matters this time around is the 15. And it's the setup, it's the walls. I mean, even towards the end there was really good lockdown on WorstTurttle, who once again had a great game early on. Cyno, I think Twig, able to get a lot of things going, J-Mac, but it's just they couldn't hold on to it.
No, I think what matters is that he built defense on a Guardian solo and not full damage Anubis solo. I think that makes the bigger difference there as to why that fight... If he does that exact same play in game number 2 where he jumps into the Fire Giant pit, tries to get a kill, he dies in an instant.
Oh, yeah.
But because he's a tanky Cabrakan, he gets to live long enough to allow the rest of his team to do what they did, a.k.a. Pegon getting a quadra kill and Ven taking the penta.
You know what? All that matters, look, when history rewrites it, I'm going to ignore the Ven part. I'm just going to focus on the double back-to-back quads and, like you said, the W at the end of the day, because the mages, the mid laners, I should say, stay alive in both of their sets so far today. And of course, who else would we want to talk to other than the namesake for the team? DuoQ. It's going to be BennyQ and then Pegon standing by with Shelly, ready for an interview.
That's true. I got a Q sandwich here. I'm here with Pegon and Benny after their monumental win. First and foremost, I'm going to go to Pegon because I have a question for you. We both know jungle's broken. Did you have to fight for this role, or was it obvious that you were going to be the jungler on this squad?
I think it was pretty obvious. Like, none of them play jungle as much as me in ranked, and I'd like to think I'm the best at it, so the role should be mine, I guess.
So you didn't have to fight anyone. They just gave it to you? All right, that's just free, I suppose. Benny, now I want to give you some credit because Pegon did not really see the effort that you were giving. He didn't see how much pressure you were taking off the team so that they could flourish. That was your plan going in, right? More deaths equals more pressure away from the boys.
Yeah, I mean, everyone kind of wants me like kept down so they can't win.
It's free duo pressure. He's forced to play my lane. I'm drawing all the attention on the map, and just had to weather the storm, keep my mental in it, and it's pretty easy.
Looked easy from the outside. If you knew what the game plan was, like I did, it looked easy. I do ask you one more thing though. Coming into this event, you were playing some ADC during the rank queues. Was that your plan going in? Was the solo lane always what you were looking at, or you just felt like it was a better fit?
Yeah, ADC was the original plan, but basically the last 2 games that I just played, it kind of looked like that. So, I mean, I needed a change, I think.
All right, Pegon. Last question. 2 Phoenixes down. We listened to you guys in comms, and every time your 2 Phoenixes went down, you guys got more confident. It was almost like it was a buff. Did you guys just feel better defending, or you just never lost faith?
You know, I think we're all just like super confident holding, and in this meta, the game doesn't start till like 35 minutes in, so 2 Phoenixes mean nothing to us.
All right, Duo Q, definitely a squad to be reckoned with, and late game, you better watch out. Boys, go back with the squad. We're going to throw this one on the desk.
Confidence, W's, and J-Mac enough muscle mass to make the Incredible Hulk feel insecure between the 2 brothers there. Playing well. And looking good doing so. Look, it's just great for them to be able to hold on that well, and it's been that way for all of the mid laners. Unfortunately for the junglers, as we take a look at the bracket, you'll see what it means for them. Well, it means elimination, at least for that team. We do still have Revenge Tour a little bit later to try and, let's say, balance things out for them. Of course, we're finally going to get to see some of the supports come into the equation, as well as the NBKs, the last standing Hunter team that's going to be playing. But the other thing that's really important to remember is the solo lane matchups that you see, the solo lane sluggers, and of course the Fonzo fam, aren't until tomorrow. So we're going to see the rest of the supports today, everybody else play, get the first half of those semifinal matchups. Tomorrow we'll get the second half of those, and then finals will be on Sunday in a best of 5, because Saturday is going to be all of the roles taking on each other, right? Mid v mid, carry v carry, jungle v jungle, etc., etc. So if your favorite got eliminated so far already today, or you're kind of starting to stress about whether or not they'll make it through, then good news for you is that you're going to guaranteed see what they have to offer again on Saturday. And if it's not Saturday because there's only 4, because guess what, 4 best of 3s takes quite a while, then Sunday morning is the other best of 3 between the 5th role, as I believe still TBD as to what order we're going to go in, because we're waiting to see how the rest of the bracket shakes out. But coming up, I'm kind of curious for you, who or anyone, team, any player that you're like excited to see what that guy has to offer?
Yeah, first we need to see the redemption, at least for maybe the other 2 roles that have already been eliminated. We need to see what Revenge Tour is able to do. We got to see what the NPKs are going to do as far as the jungles and the hunters. Okay, so you want the
supports getting eliminated, is what you're saying?
No, I just want to see what the other half of them are capable of, because we're also going to see both of the supports pop in. So far, the mages, or I should say the mid laners, have won. So now we got to see if the supports can hold up and be able to knock out the 2 other style of carry roles, and then we could have mid, solo, and support kind of run the remainder of the show out there. If we're asking for an individual team I'm most excited for, I got to see Awesome Team 408. Jake was one of the top support players over the course of the phase. You have a run-it-down style of player like Mike. Back to alongside with him, you have Genetics, Neilma, and Wrong Yu. That is a crazy team to watch, and I'm very excited to watch, well, all of them, but I think if there's one team in particular of the ones that are left for now, for today, I'd say probably Awesome Team 408.
Well, no matter how the rest of the day shakes out, we're going to lose at least 1 role. It's just whether or not we're going to lose 2 that is really up for the question. So there's a lot to figure out and a lot of setting up to do. So we're going to kick it to a quick break, and then when we get back, we'll finally have the supports joining the fray.
Show me what you made of. You know what I came for. I see the real you. You should let her out that cage more. I've been playing it cool because